XM 105, Sirius 206, the Opie and Anthony channel. The Ron and Fez show starts right now.
Okay, let's get down to it, boppers.
I don't know, where to begin. We are North Americans, and for those of you who still think we're from England, we're not, no. We've been on planes and on trains till we think we might die. Far from North America, where the buildings are old, and you might have lots of mimes. I hate the feeling when you looking at me that way, 'cause we're North Americans, but if we act all shy, it'll make it okay, it makes it go away. I don't know, where to begin, when we're North American, but in the end, make the same mistakes all over again. Come on, North America!
Buddies, it's the Ron and Fez show on what scientists are now calling Wednesday, or Chris Stanley is
Hump Day.
His handle is Hump Day. Now the iBank blowing up this morning with all kinds of big stories, but we just found out, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is doing big induction this week. All kinds of great groups going in there. The Beasties, Donovan's going to be there, Guns N' Roses, Freddie King, The Miracles, the great Laura Nero, Red Hot Chili Peppers, all going in. This is really one of the greatest fucking classes in a long time. Also, Tom Dowd is going in, and which should be amazingly kind of fucking cool, because he's a guy who worked as an engineer and a producer, and so many of those guys have so much to do with the sound that you grew up listening to, but you don't know it. But my prediction is that the place is really going to pop, because I consider this the kind of greatest band that not everybody owns albums by.
All right.
I think they only had one hit in America. One hit with their first kind of group, and then they went into another group, and then one hit there. But everybody that was in the band ended up becoming in a super group after the fact.
Jesus.
I'm talking about the Faces are going to go in. And in just a couple of minutes, from the Faces, Kenny Jones, the drummer, is stopping by. And he went from the Faces to being part of the Who and doing stuff with Wings, Pretender, everywhere. And the other guy left the Faces to join a little band called the Rolling Stones. So coming up in just a couple of minutes, Kenny Jones and Ronnie Wood are stopping in. Now they've got this massive photography and kind of a memoir called The Faces.
Looks crazy, this giant book.
It is.
It looks amazing.
It is fantastic. And it's got all those rock and roll pictures in it that you don't even see people kind of enjoying themselves like this anymore. Like, this is like real rock and roll stuff. Where now there's like the fact that it's become so professional and so run by the numbers at every show.
Everything's set up by the PR people to make sure nothing bad is taken, God forbid.
And that nobody from the band falls into the crowd and grabs women and takes them up on stage.
Oh, my God.
I think the Faces actually had a full bar on stage the whole time that they performed. But this was really, really, really one of the great rock and roll party bands of all time. And stopping in just a couple of minutes is going to be Kenny Jones and Ronnie Wood. Now, the fact of the matter is, Chris, Ronnie Wood's also doing the Gold Nugget in Atlantic City.
Nice. I love AC.
And let's see the date on that. April 14th at 8 o'clock. For more information, check out rockhall.com. Rockhall.com. If you want to pre-order or just go check out this book that I'm talking about, it is thefaces.com. The book is called Faces 1969 to 1975, and you can pre-order it now. Hey, Jack, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, I want to congratulate April for finally getting Ronnie Wood in studio.
I didn't even think of that. That was
one of the craziest fucking stories ever.
All right, I'm now being told 21st.
The show at the Golden Nuggets on the 21st of April.
All right, and then the Hall of Fame gets shown on the 14th.
Yeah.
What I need is more papers in front of me.
I know.
That would be the fun thing.
No. Not fun at all.
No.
That's not fun.
So, 21st of April. All right. Very, very cool. Let's go over to Greg. Greg, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, boys. How about it, Ronnie fucking Wood? Somebody should definitely call Black Girl. This is classic. You guys finally landed them. This is going to be great. Good work, boys.
By the way, there is such a perfect, what I'm now calling Black Girl of the Future bit up on the iBang today.
Oh, right on. Cool. Check that out. Thanks, Ronnie.
It's an elderly guy who, he's kind of comatose until they play music for him. And then he kind of reverts to the way he was when he was a kid.
That's wild.
It's actually fascinating. It's spectacular. So much shit on the iBang blowing up today, but for some reason, people were crazy about the 3-year-old who was a better golfer than you.
That 3-year-old fucking tears it up, one after another. At 3 years old?
Can I tell you? All right, yeah, he's strong off the tee.
Yeah.
But let's see him on the irons. That's where I'm going to fucking catch this kid.
He's got, he's maybe should learn more finesse, but just power-wise, he's fucking dominating. On the 3-year-old set?
We'll see. Oh, yeah, a 3-year-old said he's going to kill. I thought you were talking about if he wants to go out and fucking, put his money where his mouth is. Because that's when the pressure changes the game. Anybody can putt until there's fucking 800 hours on it.
He just hit some driving ranges at the very least. What's his dad doing?
Come on, 800 right now. Hit that, and it's fucking 800.
Come on, we're all going to eat tonight, kid. It's going to be a party.
I would take this fucking kid out and just fucking use him as a hustler.
Hell yeah. It's an obvious thing.
So exciting to have those guys stopping by. That's blowing out big. And the fact that we've got this bearded girls going up. I want you and me to see if we can get Fez to see if maybe he likes girls a little better if they have facial hair.
All right, that makes a lot of sense.
It does,
in
right?
that lifestyle, it's like, I get a nice kind of like bear type person, but with a woman.
Right, but I've talked to guys before who dig a little hair.
On the face? Or just,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, obviously they're they're big bush guys, but then armpit guys.
Okay, I've heard of that.
I know guys that are fucking crazy about a treasure trail.
Okay.
Loving the trail. That's a little masculine for me as well.
That's dude area.
Exactly, because they can easily take care of this. We're not in the 1940s.
Bust out the shick, dog. Come on.
Yeah.
It's easy.
This Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show is going to be fucking terrific, though.
Oh, yeah, with the people.
I don't know what's going on with Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that's still all up in the air.
I don't know what we're going to be looking at there.
Because, that's the first time they're supposedly all going to be together and fucking in years.
By the way, if you want to check out that book I was talking about, now you can go to facesbook.com, not to be confused with Facebook.com.
No Zuckerberg here.
So if Guns N' Roses, and by the way, Green Day is presenting them.
That's crazy. That's I find that a little odd, actually.
I do.
That's an odd choice.
It may be odd, but then again, I guess at the top there, it's, hey, we've all sold a lot. All right, well, you got the boys ready to come in?
I'm good to go.
From the Faces, as well as the Who, and a little band called the Rolling Stones, let's bring in the drummer, Kenny Jones, and the great guitar player, Ronnie Wood. How's that for a refresher course, boys?
Oh,
Good
come
song.
back down to the ground with a bang.
Yeah.
You guys remember that now? Are you ready?
Bits and
ready to do
pieces
that?
of it, yeah, comes flooding back. Yeah.
Good way to wake up, that was. It's better than any breakfast. Oh, it's good.
Faces, and as well as the small faces going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this week. Ronnie Wood and Kenny Jones are here with us. And that,
Hi, Ron.
Just to bring that in, man, really that is, I think, just pure rock and roll.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's a
It
good
was
song.
always such a great party band. The Faces were one of those bands, when they came into town, it's all anybody could talk about. And it really did not feel, at the time, like you were just going to see rock stars. It almost was like, this is the local
Family.
band. Yeah.
Family.
Yeah.
Your drunken relatives
Yes.
come to town.
It was.
Yeah.
And it was just such always a great feeling of the crowd spilling on the stage and the band spilling into the crowd.
That's because we gave all the booze to the crowd.
Yeah.
So they could get as drunk as we were.
And
Yeah.
the crowd would come back to the hotel with us,
Yes.
especially in the Midwest and all over the country. Yeah.
But everywhere, I guess, except for Holiday Inns. Is Holiday Inn actually banned you guys, right?
Yeah, we used to have to check in as Fleetwood Mac. We did, really. To me.
A nice, peaceful band. You know,
Yeah.
we're just Fleetwood Mac.
They don't talk to us anymore.
Kenny, for you, did you like the road as much as the other guys, though?
I think initially when we first started to touring,
Yeah.
in the early 70s, it was I was homesick.
Yeah, that's right.
There was no internet, there was no mobile phones,
Right.
And you had to book a phone call and wait 4 hours before you could reach home.
And Kenny was going, I can't take this. I'm going on the next plane. I said, Ken, just wait. I'll pay for your next phone call to your girlfriend. Not that I have any money to do that.
I don't want to go home now. I want to stay.
Now you just want to stay. But, when you guys came to America, I mean, the difference between America and England at that time was really vast, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was a completely different way of living.
Yeah, it was like a major decision to go over there, and it was 3 months. In order to come out with any money at all, you had to stay 3 months and work every day, and just to make enough money to live for the next 6 months.
In New York, we used to stay at Lowe's Midtown, and we bumped into Muhammad Ali there. Do you remember that?
Muhammad Ali, is that
I shook his hand, and I said, my dad's going to be so proud. I shook his hand. I went on to meet him many more times after that, and do some paintings of him, and he double signed them. It's really cool.
Your artwork has never stopped as well, too, right?
Right.
You've never stopped painting, never stopped drawing.
It just stepped up in momentum when I realized during the 80s that I was being foreclosed again. I thought, oh no, because I was never any good at managing my money. But I decided to take up the art again during the 80s, and it started to pay my grocery bill, then it started to pay my whole bill, and it started to take over my life.
Right. Well, there's really never enough money when you kind of live that big rock and roll lifestyle, right? I mean, you got to keep feeding it.
Well, every time we came here, we would live without our means, and that's the only way to rock and roll, baby.
We still are.
Yeah, you still are. No, you're actually, Ronnie, you've got a solo show coming up soon.
Yeah, in Atlantic City. It's going to be a new kind of version of the New Barbarians. And I've got Willie Weeks, and I got Steve Jordan, and I got...
Steve was just here the other day with one of his solo projects playing, and he's just so fantastic.
I got Bernard Fowler and Chuck Lavelle and Andy Wallace, and it's going to be a good little orchestra, as we call it.
Are you always playing, though? Is it never a time in your life that you're not got some project going on?
Yeah, well, I've just done some music for the season finale of CSI Miami.
Really?
That went over really well. I did it with Kelly Jones, and Mick Taylor came in, and we duetted.
Wow.
We love to duet together, me and Mick. He's such a beautiful, lyrical, poetic player.
He's such a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
And that whole era of the guys that you all came up with, it just seems to have been the peak in terms of...
Yeah, we certainly lived through the greatest times, I think, in rock history. It was just, you had to be there. People ask me, what was it like? I said, well, you had to be there.
Yeah.
And I guess you had all, even before you joined the Faces, Ronnie, you knew these guys, and was that always, all those bands would just jam together in London?
Yeah, there was so much respect knocking around, especially it would come together at the Christmas parties of the record companies, you'd go in and be rubbing shoulders, there'd be the Beatles over there, the Hollies there, the Pretty Things, the Small Faces, Jeff Beck group will go in, with, who knows? There was just so much, it was all like a big brotherhood, so much respect, and everybody, it was like one big band, like Kenny said earlier on.
Was it a surprise when that scene in London kind of blew up in America, the fact that you guys could cross over? And
no, it was no surprise to us, because we thought, we didn't even think we were selling the Americans their own music back, because we were all inspired by the blues and the soul and the R&B and everything that came out of America, even the country and western, everything was, we paid tribute to, played in our own way, and then the audiences thought, wow, they're doing something new, but it was just their music represented. It was lovely.
But it was always about the love of the music, too.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that all the guys from that era have this encyclopedia knowledge about American music, that they can sit around and talk about people that a lot of Americans have forgotten about, as far as the old blues.
Well, thank God for Muddy Waters and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and people like that, because they gave so much to the music, and they inspired us so much, and they still do to this day.
Yeah, to this day. When the Faces were out on the road, at the same time that you guys were doing that, Rod had his solo records, and you guys were playing on those records as well, right? Yeah. Was that ever a jealousy thing, or was it
just one of those things that just worked out that way? Because when the Faces formed, we didn't know that Rod had signed
a solo deal. We found out afterwards, really, basically. But so he was doing his own solo stuff whilst the Faces were together, and it just so happened that Mo Austin, who was the head of Warner Brothers in those days, knew the boss of Mercury Records, and they worked out something where we could work together.
And yet, if you really look at it, and if that all was put under the Faces banner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the music kind of sounds so similar as you go back and forth before that the Faces might have had, you know, another half dozen or so hits.
It was a disappointing thing rather than a jealousy thing. It was kind of a disappointment the way that Rod became more and more segregated through his solo success.
Yeah.
Which we all didn't blame him for. I mean, we loved it. We said, good on you, Rod, you know, but then we used to get to venues and it said, tonight, Rod Stewart. When we're going, what are we, a piece of fish or something?
Fish.
And Ronnie, even when you started playing with the Stones, you were still touring with the Faces.
Yeah, I did. In '75, I did 2 Faces tour and 1 Stones tour. I was hardly off the road. I was fried. I loved it. Musically fried.
Anything new with the Stones? I know that there's some talk about another
We got
tour.
books, we got films, we got documentaries coming out and all kinds of stuff.
It never stops.
There's no plans otherwise. You know, we're all happy campers.
When you guys go over to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you guys are going to be playing live?
That's what we hope,
yeah. Any idea?
We got Flea there, we got Slash, we got all great people that we all love to jam with anyway, so we'll see what's happening.
There's no excuse, there's too many musicians there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys will jump up on stage with anyone, right?
You know that. Yeah. We should have been called Beastie Boys.
Well, now you're Beastie Men. That's the beauty of it.
That's it.
But is there newer music that you guys enjoy? Is there bands coming up that, or
unfortunately, no.
No, nobody at all, huh?
Well, I saw Bruno Mars the other week. They're great. They keep the soul of James Brown going and things like that, which was fabulous. Nicely surprised. No, there are great bands around, but they're very few and far between. I wish there were more.
It's harder and harder to find new music as well.
It's harder for them.
Yeah.
We have these programs like Britain's Got Talent, or you know, you have similar programs, X Factor, all that. I mean, they do a gig. Their first gig is in front of like 8 million people. What kind of a chance is that? Yeah. Why don't they start in a little working men's club and film that, and then see if they can impress 10 guys reading newspapers, you know, rather than going in front of 8 million critical people, you know, and it makes people nervous, you know.
Well, not only that too, but it seems like it's all about some kind of vocal exercises. Well, everybody, you know, the band is off the stage, and I don't know if, like we were talking about when the Faces toured, and the audience would connect so much with the band, you're never going to get that unless that it shows up as a unit.
You had to work on it. You had to have a few chances to build a little reputation and a following, and you know, start with just a few people, and then more and more people would come. And that's the natural way. And you learned, and you said, "Oh, I won't do that again. I'll play like this next time," and it would, you know, you'd mould it rather than being thrown straight in the deep end and being some kind of performing Muppet. You know?
The book here that is out.
Well put, Ronnie.
Well put.
Could you repeat that?
No, I don't know what the hell I just said.
The book that you have out, The Faces, and people, if you could pre-order this at the thefacesbook.com. It's kind of about what we're talking about. If you look at some of these pictures, these pictures sound better than a lot of bands. You could look at these pictures.
They're alive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're alive, and you can see it. But the other interesting thing is just to see the way that the band is kind of touching and rolling off each other. And even if you look at Rod in these pictures, he's very rarely front and center. You see him spilling off to one side or another, and the band is just exploding on stage. And it's almost that the lack of kind of a professional PR firm in those days, a lack of saying, here's what we want the band to look like and sound like, kept that organic thing.
It was a shared experience, and it was on the edge. You know, it could collapse at any time.
Right.
And it could explode into magnificent things at any time. And usually that happened on stage. And no matter how drunk we were, we would sober up for the audience and for ourselves to get the musical message across and like play the best possible music.
Right. And to particularly hit those high points, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you have to risk some kind of failure of the whole thing falling
there was
apart.
a big risk of, that's what we lived on. We loved that,
Right.
the fact that it could fall apart, and it did. Many times. It was fantastic.
Yeah. When it falls apart, at least you're there for that as an audience member.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
can build on that.
Yeah.
It's the only way to go, is up.
Right. Because you could say, oh, Jesus Christ, I've seen these guys, and I don't know what the hell ended up happening. Through 3 songs, they end up stopping, and that becomes kind of thrilling,
But luckily, they gave me a case of champagne before the show started, so I'm on the same wavelength as them,
That's the beauty of this, too. You look at this, and it did look like a lot of the girls got a chance to see what it looked like backstage.
What looked like.
They certainly did.
Yeah, they certainly got to travel around. Who were the guys that enjoyed the road the most? Who were the guys that kept the party going?
The road managers, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They reaped all the benefits and they made all the contracts. Right? Well, if you want to see him, you've got to get through me first.
And the crew was always a really big part of this. You guys used the same crew.
Yeah, we were always great buddies.
And they were great. They had a great network between all the bands. And you still meet them today. I just met Bob Pridden, the Who's.
Oh, brother, yeah.
And he was there from year dot. And he's still doing the same things for Townsend that he would do for me or Keith or Kenny or what, but all the roadies. Unfortunately, I lost my long-time man, Chooch. Chooch McGee. His spirit lives on. He was a fantastic Detroit boy. And now I have Dave Rouse and Pierre de Beauport, but they're great. There's a great family of musicians, of backstage boys like Pete Buckland used to be with Faces. Rod still has Boiler, who did his apprenticeship with Faces. Now he's Rod's right-hand man. Anything he does musically, Boiler is there, It's great.
And this is decades and decades and decades that these guys have stayed dedicated to the music.
Yeah.
And maybe not known by the audience, but completely integral for everything that's happened over the years.
That's right. They're the stars of the show, really.
Yeah.
But they're just so ugly. They're not allowed to be on stage.
Kenny Jones and Ronnie Wood in studio with us, and you guys have been doing some Faces shows again. What is that like to pick that up after so many years?
Well, it was great. I mean, we wanted to obviously do it with Rod, but Rod's sort of calendar was full, and that sort of thing. But we thought, well, okay, we can't wait forever. Rod can join us at any moment.
Yeah,
and then Mick
Hucknall did a very noble job, didn't he?
Yeah, he was great, and that happened by accident because we were given an award by the Performing Rights Society, and we said, well, Rod can't be here, and they said, well, and I said, well, who's on the bill as well? And they said Mick Hucknall and.
Who's the other singer? How long has it been going?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Paul Carrack.
Yeah, great
He
singer.
came on and sang Cindy, and Mick Hucknall said, can I please stay with me?
Yeah.
And we said, yeah, come on. And he sang it royally, and he reached those ball-breakingly high notes.
Right. But all that music just comes back to you. It's like it's still
it all comes flooding back.
Yeah. How does that actually even work, that you could put something aside for many, many years like that?
That's
a miracle.
That's
it's
what's
a miracle.
amazing, to be honest. It's when we got back together a few times over the last, 5 decades or whatever it is. It amazed me the first time. I thought, well, okay, we all lived different experiences, so we're going to sound, and we're sober,
right,
or reasonably sober. We're going to sound much better, and it sounds just the same.
Nothing had really changed.
No, nothing.
No.
I think that's why we gelled together.
Yeah,
the element of pandemonium is always there. It's fabulous.
Yeah. But that is interesting that not even your other experiences that you've had since then play into it. No. That somehow there's some kind of muscle memory or whatever that spirit is that takes you right back to that same time.
I think it's the chemistry of the guys, of the people. And you add one element, you add 3 elements, 4 elements, 5, and it's boom, explosion. The same with the Stones. Whenever we're okay individually, but as soon as 2 of us, 3 of us get together, 4 of us, it's like boom, magic, something happens.
So what happens when somebody leaves that, like when Ronnie left the
spirit goes.
That was a big hole there.
And you can't even find somebody that, even as they're professional or even a better player, doesn't matter, because more about chemistry.
There's a hole that's not going to be filled.
Yeah.
And a Japanese soul bass player did not fill it.
That was a nasty shot when you look around, yeah.
Hey, Tetsu, you meant to take that Quaalude after you come off, not before you go on.
You know, you try to teach people about timing the drugs.
Yeah, your timing, put one foot in front of the other. Oh, no, crash.
Oh, God, how Quaaludes are missed. It's so sad. But when he came in, you guys knew, hey, it just, this thing is pretty much starting to run its course.
It was cooked for a little bit more on the back burner there, and it fried a bit, and then it totally fried.
And that time, Rod had moved to the States permanently.
Right.
So there was a great big transatlantic void.
Yeah, because I've seen Rod say, well, when the Stones stole Ronnie or whatever, but the fact of the matter is
it was all crumbled, it was everything, the jigsaw just all fit in. And the same day I was called over by the Stones. I'd already put it off for a year. Mick said, can I call you if I get desperate? Because I don't want to split faces up. I said, sure. And Rod had announced on the front page he quit the band, and I just landed to be with the Stones.
Not exactly a bad move to make. And Kenny, at the same time, right after that, you moved over with the who was, such a gigantic band. But there you are filling in for a legendary player. How did that feel to suddenly find yourself in that?
The one thing I did know is, Mooney was a great friend of mine, and also the rest of the Who, and because it was like we said earlier, it's like one giant band, and the Small Faces and the Who used to tour quite a lot together, and I did Tommy the soundtrack as well, so there was a connection, and I knew one thing I did know is I was never going to copy or even attempt to copy Keith, because he was a unique drummer and still is, and I would have given anything not to have been in that position, but nevertheless it happened, and so I just did me in the Who,
right,
and my frame went up, my muscles, I had to play for 3.5 hours insteed of 2
it
hours.
must have been an incredible test for Kenny to not keep the beat, because Keith never hit the offbeat.
But that's strange that both of you kind of went into legendary bands, filling these legendary shoes, and then for both of you, you were pretty immediately accepted by that audience.
I always knew I was going to be in the Stones, though.
Did you really?
That was my final part of the stepping stone,
Yeah. So in the back of your mind, you're saying sooner or later.
Yeah, because I had the Birds, the Creation, the Jeff Beck group, the Faces with Rod, the Stones, that was my way across the river.
Right. So you'd set up that plan as a very young person, you looked into the future, and off you went.
When Brian Jones first died, I was going around the outskirts of Hyde Park, just walking on my own, and the place was a sea of people, and Brian had just died, Mick Taylor had just joined, and out of the car in front of me comes Jagger and Charlie Watts. He just jumped out of the car and he came on, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. I said, look at all these people, and he said, well, we'll see you soon. I said, yeah, sooner than you think.
Yeah.
And they did a double take and sort of walked across, but I knew it was going to happen.
And you guys also, at that same time, we were talking about the English bands, but Hendrix was there throughout that time. And you guys had chances to jam with him as well.
Funny enough,
I shared a flat with him.
Yeah, we did one of the last appearances that Hendrix did.
Yeah.
In a European festival. I can't remember which one it was.
And just the fact that Ronnie Woods could sit here and say, I shared a flat with Jimi Hendrix, which
for a couple of weeks in Holland Park.
Just sounds almost insane to say, doesn't it?
It was insane at the time, because I knew this guy who played double barrel left and right-handed equally well. I thought, it blew me away. It was like we had this snooker player in England called Ronnie O'Sullivan, who plays left and right-handed.
Right.
Pool, snooker. But he's a magician, and so was Jimmy, and he was very quiet, and he didn't give much away, and he didn't like the sound of his own voice. He didn't like he thought...
He didn't like his singing voice?
I can't sing, I'm no good. And I said, but I think your guitar playing slightly makes up for it, I used to try and say, come on, don't worry about your voice, just play,
Wow, that's extraordinary. The Faces and Small Faces go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this week, and also if you get the opportunity and you're in Atlantic City, Ronnie Wood at the Golden Nugget playing with so many so many great players. It was one of the things about you guys is you're always surrounded by other great players.
Yeah.
You know, that you'll go and play on great projects, and great people come into your projects.
It's 38 years since I've been with, on stage with Willie Weeks, for instance. Yeah, he's such a marvellous bass player. He playing with Eric Clapton all the time now, but he's just a wonderful guy.
And the music has got the same kick for you guys as it did when you were kids coming in.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed at all.
No, it's still a challenge and still ambitious.
Better and better.
Yeah. What a blessing that is to live that life, though, right? What a blessing it is to fall in love with something when you're so young.
It keeps you young to be able to get up and do something you just love. You know, and we're blessed and very lucky to do that. And I'm even more blessed because I can get up and either strum or kick the bass drum or paint.
Yeah,
you know.
You can do it all.
Yeah.
Well, we've been blessed just to have you guys, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. Congratulations on the rock and roll.
Cheers, Ron. That's fantastic.
You're fantastic, my friend, and take care, Kenny. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time coming through.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Ways to trap you and to use you before you even know. For love is blind and you're far too kind. Don't ever let it show. I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was younger, I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was stronger, the can such a pretty show to steal your heart away. The backstage back on earth again. The dressing rooms are great. They come on strong and it ain't too long, but I make you feel a man. But love is blind and you soon will find you're just a boy again. You wonder where you are. If you want some more, then she's fast asleep. Leaves you twinkling with the stars. For a young grandson, there's nothing I can say. You have to learn just like me, and that's the hardest way. Ooh la la, ooh la 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 la, yeah.
That is the Faces. Ronnie actually singing on that. Ronnie Wood and Kenny Jones from the Faces. Again, if you get the chance and you're in Atlantic City to see Ronnie Wood appearing at the Golden Nugget with all these great players like our buddy Steve Jordan. This is actually one of those things that you could go back and say to your younger self. But, Chris, you were sitting in here. Ronnie Wood has just the energy and attitude of a kid. And, you know, this is another reason why you have to really be somewhat suspicious of the media, because, like, for years we were like, oh, Ronnie, he's off the rails and blah, blah, blah. And the guy comes in here and he's more together, more just sweeter.
He's spot on, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's things that, you know, from time to time he needs to tweak. I'm the same way. I got to pull it back, you know. But just amazing energy.
Just ridiculously cool. Ronnie Wood's the fucking man.
It's so weird that when you meet so many of these great players, and we've had the chance to do that, great musicians, to find out that they're just so filled with life, you know?
Yeah.
Just so filled with this joy of being alive. To hear him say that, oh, he's jamming with Mick Taylor is just crazy to me. Because, you know, Mick Taylor, oddly, like that era that he was writing with Mick and Keith, even though he wasn't always credited for it. But that guitar playing has always just slayed me since I was a kid. And again, I wanted to point out to people, because this is another weird thing, that people have whatever feelings they have about Rod Stewart. And many of them are negative, blah, blah, blah. And quite frankly, because of some of the corporate decisions over the year, he's earned that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, you want to live in a big, giant house and all that, and you're going to do some of this stuff. But when he was with the Faces, that fucking music was so amazing. And they were just really one of the great rock and roll bands of all time.
Yeah, I've only known Rod Stewart as the corporate guy, but this fucking band is the shit.
Well, here's the other weird thing about it. You could also go back and listen. All that stuff is there. And his first few albums, and the guys from the Faces performed on those albums, they're fucking terrific. They're just terrific. All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. That was just so much fucking fun. Dude, seriously.
I can't believe those guys just walked in here.
You know, when I ran off as a kid to fucking go with the carnival, that's the exact reason why. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is still living the fucking carny life. And that's why when no matter what even happens in radio, I'm like, well, at least it's not, you know, real life. Yeah. Pete, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, good morning, guys. Ron, I just want to say thank you so much for that interview. I am a huge Kenny Jones fan, and just to listen to the old days talk about that was just amazing. You are an amazing interviewer. I really...
Well, you know, to have those guys come in and want to talk about, you know, the 60s in London and coming over the States, and out of fucking nowhere... Ronnie Wood just says, oh, I shared a flat with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I live with
But,
him.
you know, I had to stop everything and bring it back. That's not like a fucking... you know,
no one says that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And you're smoking this electronic cigarette at the time.
Shit out.
And he's like, right, mate. He could fucking sing. You know, he had to learn how to not keep a beat.
It's fucking crazy to see this shit go down.
Busting Keith Moon's dead balls. I mean, that literally is like... the fucking thing that I wanted. That was the room I wanted to be in with a kid when I was a kid.
Fuck.
If I'd had blonde hair and big tits, I'd have been backstage a long fucking time ago, hearing these stories. Let's go over Richie. Richie, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie B, how are you?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, Ronnie, too. You know, Rod Stewart also rocked pretty hard, man, when he was with Jeff Beck. You know, Jeff Beck group.
Ronnie Wood was in that group as well.
Yeah, that's right. Ronnie Wood, too, also. Correct.
And Jeff Beck, I actually was even making him play bass and shit because, you know, Jeff Beck was looking over his shoulder a little bit in those days. Just fucking so fucking cool. Steve Leeds, by the way, is the guy who just swung them by. And like when you come into work and then someone's like saying, yeah, the fucking Faces are here. I thought Ian was going to be there as well, but I guess he didn't come in.
No, just
not everybody can get up every morning. It's fucking difficult. I'm really looking to this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing.
It's going to be awesome.
It's really, really great. We should be the Beastie Boys. I'm not fucking kidding you. For years, if you believe the fucking newspaper, they made it seem like Ronnie Wood was going to fucking die.
Weird, just fucked up, like, dude. Like, but the guy who walked in here is fucking got all his shit together. He's the man.
He really is, like, had such fucking young energy, such fucking friendship, and, like, when he's leaving, he's just fucking grabbing my neck. Oh, cheers, Mike. Go.
What the fuck?
Good to see you.
Wild.
Just like, what?
Just happened.
He had stopped by here one day before, and I was doing it on Mass, so I walked over, and I'm like, what's up with him? And they go, oh, he's just stopping in for a minute, and then he's leaving, because he just got a call from Mick, and they're going to have lunch with Bill Clinton. And I, like, this is a fucking whole next level shit going down there. Let's go over here to Chris. You're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, Ronnie, those guys were great. Interview was great, but I don't think you give yourself enough credit for being the great interviewer. I literally think that there's nobody out there big enough that you couldn't interview. You did an amazing job. I appreciate it, bud.
You know, I mean, obviously you get to do it here quite a bit, but these fucking guys, people are like, well, how do you know so much about some... I used to fucking lay on my bed before I fucking went to sleep and read the album covers, the music I was listening to.
There you go.
I mean, that's fucking crazy.
And now they're here.
To me, yeah. The only sad thing is that it took so long. That's the only thing. I think I was ready to do it at fucking 13 years old. Let's go over to Kevin. Kevin, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, Ron, that's why, just like the other caller just said, you did a great interview. The difference between you and other interviews are you are really a fan, but you don't act like a fan. You know, you keep it cool, and it's almost like we want to hear you as much as we want to hear the guys you...
Well, that's insane, but I do appreciate you saying it.
I also like the fact that you gave credit to, what's his name, who Ronnie took place of guitarist.
Mick Taylor.
Yeah, what a great guitarist he was, too.
He was just so... I mean, everybody who's played with the Stones over the years has been great. And if you even look like a lot of people who played keyboards over the years that, aren't even front and center, are just always fucking great. I mean, everyone talks about the Stones, about the celebrity aspect first, but Keith Richards is such a fucking rock and roll man that nothing comes before that. It's just truth.
It's just fucking soul.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And people, they're so huge that gets lost.
How come you can't enjoy the electric cigar Ronnie Wood does?
I don't know. I think it's just not the same for me. I mean, it's good short term, but I need to have some real tobacco.
Kevin, you're on Ron and Fez.
Good morning, guys.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a song by the Faces that epitomizes the band, it's I'm Losing You. It's amazing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the rest of it. Your phone kind of fucked up.
I'm Losing You by the Faces just epitomizes the band. It's just rocks so fucking hard.
Well, the Rod's voice was so fucking shocking at that time. Now people have gotten so fucking used to it, because of all these other things. But at the time, people were like, well, should he even be singing? It sounds like he's hurt.
Your love is fading not the same. Oh, honey, I'm losing you. Can feel it in the air. It's there everywhere. Oh, I'm losing you. Can feel it in my bones. Any day you'll be up and gone. Oh, I'm losing you. It's all over your face.
Here's Kaylin in Ohio. You're on Fez.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for that interview. I got goosebumps. I am so jealous of you. Ron Wood is one of my heroes, and you did it again, man. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm even a little jealous of me right now. I'm jealous of me 15 minutes ago. I literally could have fucking, if the Faces would ever say, look, we need you to come with us. We need someone to help get the amps in the fucking truck. And it was the original fucking guys.
Oh
which
God.
means I want Ronnie Lane alive again.
Okay.
I probably would be like, all right, I'm off.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I love that really fucking 70s rock and roll sound. That's all but lost. Like the Black Crowes were probably the last band to try to bring that same sound back.
Today, it's a lot of people just insert a lot of electronics into rock.
Well, your fucking hero, fucking Jack White.
That's right.
Would have fit right to fuck in.
Oh yeah.
Jack White could have fucking walked out
He's
there.
a blues guy. He's a fucking old school fucking blues man.
Kyle, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on, buddies? Great interview. You could have done a week's worth of shows just on half the shit that Ronnie Wood brought up. You know, just all the side stories.
Well, you know
Fantastic.
what's like, and the fact that they start to bring up these guys that we don't know, the guys that were behind the stage.
Yeah, sound techs and shit.
Yeah, sound techs and fucking road managers.
Yeah.
And those guys, like, that are literally picking the chicks up when the band is on stage. And literally planning the crazy after parties. And then when the after party, when they break up a fucking Holiday Inn, figuring out who you got to pay off.
Yeah.
So fucking, I mean, isn't it weird when you look back over the history of rock and roll and all the amazing fucking debauchery, how few rape arrests that you've ever fucking heard about, how few assault charges, you know, I mean, we know the ODs because you can't bring someone back from the death.
You can't put that, hide that under a fucking...
Yeah, so you can't fucking unfuck that cat. But the rest of those things that must have been covered up over the years,
just by like an army of dudes that will never know who they are. But these guys bring up their names like they're their fucking best friends and guys that they fucking trust and love.
Yeah, and some of those guys that have been with those guys now for 30, 40 years.
Shit.
And, you know, not one of the names of people going, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know him.
Chooch.
Chooch sounds like the fucking man.
Yeah, he does.
Here's Mark, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Oh, hey, Ron?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, man? I want to thank you for that interview, man. That was awesome. I didn't know too much about the Faces, and I just actually purchased like 2 albums so I could like get it sold.
Yeah, it's a really kind of interesting case of the amount of bands and shit and success that those guys went into after, you know. The fact that Ronnie Wood had to go into that Rolling Stones job and was completely accepted, and probably harder than that, Kenny Jones had to fucking fill Keith's shoes in The Who and was accepted by the audience.
Because Keith Moon was, you know, everyone knows Keith Moon. He was a legend.
Well, Keith Moon was a legend off fucking stage as well. You know, he was just being that guy.
Yeah, they go into The Who and the Rolling Stones after that. Unbelievable.
Let's go over to John. John, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, Ronnie, I just want to first thank you for that interview and ask you, would you say biggest stars ever on the show?
I mean, it's really depending. When we've had Oscar winners on, you know, since we joined with Sirius, and the same thing has happened, of course, with the O&A show, is like you really just don't know who's going to show up. So I mean, we had Jeff Bridges in, who's an Oscar winner.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey Robinson, which you can't really get bigger. I mean, you could tie Smokey Robinson, but you can't get bigger. And he was also a fucking, terrific. Another thing is how thoughtful so many of these guys are. That when you just express some amount of
love or passion,
yeah,
or just interest in their work.
Yeah, just not trying to bring up the personal shit. You know. I'm trying to think. For me, I don't know if I could ever get any bigger than Peter Wolf. When Peter Wolf came in here,
that was awesome. Brian Ferry.
Brian Ferry was fucking.
Robbie Robertson.
Robbie Robertson was as big as you can get. What am I fucking saying?
Quincy Jones, Brian Wilson.
Quincy Jones, Brian Wilson.
Amazing.
Fucked up list. This is crazy.
But if you remember, if you go back, we kind of almost started it with fucking Sidney Pollack. And I don't know if you can be a fucking, bigger than that. Quentin Tarantino.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall was fucking crazy.
Crosby, Stills, Nash.
That's fucking insane.
Oh, fuck. Nick Cage is a huge fucking star. I mean, Jesus, it's just one after another. Just giant stars.
Nick, you're on the Ron Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
Great interview, but I want to say every time you interview these guys, they always come back and show how much respect they have for Muddy Waters and Buddy Guy and how that's how they got into rock and roll music. And you don't even hear blues like that anymore. It's a shame.
Well, it is out there. It's just harder to find. But here's a very odd thing about musicians. And if more people fucking cared that way, you never run into musicians who have any kind of prejudice. Steve, and I mean that in not just politically correct, but if someone could fucking play, they don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, as long as their skills there and
if you go back and look at the history of integration, the end of segregation, it really came from jazz musicians. And the weird thing is, it wasn't like baseball where Jackie Robinson would be trying to get into this thing. White guys would be traveling uptown, waiting to be able to go on fucking stage and play with black musicians. And the black musicians would be like, yes, if you're fucking good,
come in. I
don't want to fucking hear that because we can't get in the fucking club downtown that you're not allowed up here. Let's just fucking play.
Let's jam.
Let's just fucking play. And the beauty of that is there's no intellectual aspect to that at all. It's almost childish. It's almost naive. Fuck politics and everything else. There's that great thing that Ry Cooder did when he went down to fucking Cuba and was playing with those Cuban musicians. They just speak in a whole different language. They just speak.
One ranks up there right alongside that. It was a great interview.
Yeah, that was amazing talking to Bill Withers.
That was amazing the day he came in. He was fucking great.
He's a guy that's really off on his own. Mark, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Ronnie, you sound like $1 million. I got a couple of questions for you, sir.
Yeah.
Number one, is there an interviewee that you wished you could have gotten? And number two, is there an interviewee that you wish that you didn't have to do?
Well, the weird thing is now we don't have to really. We get to turn down a lot of shit here, and no one gets fucking pissed off at us at all for it. But probably the one show that I wish I never had to do, my biggest regret, is the Fez Coming Out show.
Oh.
I mean, that's
it, huh?
I love that show.
Well, it was horrifying, and B, it turned out not to be true.
No, I am gay, openly gay.
I'm sorry, have you had any gay experiences?
No, I have not yet.
I don't know if that's gay.
It's confusing.
I don't think it's confusing. I think it's black and white, just like murder. If you murdered someone,
you're a murderer.
You're a murderer. But if you've murdered someone in your heart, but you haven't done it,
daydreaming, I guess.
Yes, you can. You're a dreamer. You cannot be convicted. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I tell you, he fantasized about murder.
That's it.
Then Elmore Leonard would be a killer.
Be doing life.
Here's my buddy, Gorilla Bob.
Hey boys, I just want to blow one more puff of smoke up Ron's ass.
Good.
I love that interview. The whole thing, you make these guys so comfortable that they blurt out things that you would never expect to hear them say, like when they said that he ran into Mick walking through Hyde Park, that Hendrix didn't like his own voice. But when I heard him call Keith Moon loony, just like he was talking, just like you talk about Pepper or you talk about, awesome. And it was just one of those silly things, it just struck me that you're listening to history. And by the way, if I say I can fly and I never show anybody, can I really fly?
I would say no. I think you have to fly to be considered a flyer.
Yeah, you got all these float.
I just got a text from Earl that says Ronnie Wood has an exhibit down in Soho up until June 30th. Well, now I'm definitely going. And I wish my team would have known that. But the other fucking part of this is, Earl, you finally did it. You got Ron Wood. Oh, you know what's really funny, too? Is the reason why Earl thought that he could get Ronnie Wood is because when he met him, Ronnie was so fucking great to him. Now, don't you and I feel like we know Ronnie Wood now?
Yeah, I can go see him. Hey, Ronnie, what's up?
I do.
Remember me?
When he's fucking just holding on to me before he leaves. Thanks, mate. Oh, God, Ron. Oh, that was so lovely. And I'm just like, I guess Ronnie Wood and I are finally the best of friends.
That's right. Yeah, you are. Obviously.
Particularly the kids in the Midwest who love to come backstage. Can you imagine when you're showing up as a rock star in a place that people don't bump into everyday stars? You know what I mean? Like, you're not in Los Angeles or New York, but you're a fucking rock star who just pulled into Des Moines.
And people's heads will fucking explode.
You must just fucking girls coming at you already pre-wet, just fucking ready to dive in. And you're like, what did I do? We're going to have a 5-up on Tom Dowd, who is going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this week, too. Let's go over to Shane. Shane, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie B.
Yeah.
Ronnie Wood was kind of more of the vocal one, but it was like a pack of dingoes came in there. Can you imagine those fuckers at a motel just fucking after a show, all amped up, just fucking partying? And
oh, what about when he said that the fucking the guy, I can never remember his name either. He was a Japanese guy. I don't know why they got him, but he replaced Ronnie Lane, and that he would eat a Quaalude before the show. And just hearing the word Quaalude again makes me so happy.
I don't think I ever ate any Quaaludes. They weren't making them.
Yeah, they were the oxys of their day, but what they decided was, what they do is decide one drug is wrong, so they just stop making
on that
it.
One, right? Yeah.
Just like Rohypnol, whatever. You blame it on, they always get called the date rape drug. They, do you realize that more girls are being raped because of this drug? So that one goes around, and they come out with another one who does all the same things.
GHB.
Yeah. But I did think that there was a mellowness to fucking to Quaaludes that was just fucking perfect. Tom, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Great interview as always, Ron.
Thanks.
Pepper mentioned that if you murder somebody in your heart, it's daydreaming. So I guess Fez must be gay dreaming.
Fez, go over to the iBank today, and remember how yesterday you said that you did not find those women attractive.
Right.
We put together, I don't know where this came from, but we linked it up, and it's bearded ladies. And if you look at this, see if this would help you at all. Click on the first, it's Katy Perry, I believe.
Oh, no.
Now, does that make her more or less attractive?
that makes actually the goatee and mustache makes her more attractive.
And Hicks, you're fucking grossed out.
She's got fucking chest hair, like arm, shoulder hair. It's nasty.
I think it's just a perfect way of saying how ugly men are, because you could take a man, spruce him up, you know what I mean? Like, girl him up.
Clear that fucking skin up.
Yeah. And he will look more fuckable. He will look like, more attractive. But you can't take a woman and add masculine features.
Like the thick wrist hair on it.
Oh, God.
Nasty.
All right, who's the next one?
Julia Roberts.
All right, that goes without. I would never even known it with that beard. So there's a perfect thing that any masculine thing just hides beauty. This is all up on the iBang right now. What else you got? I don't even know this woman.
Is that the woman who hosted Sofia Vergara or whatever? Hosted Saturday
I think
Night
that
Live?
is Sophia.
All right, good call. Hicks digging fucking bearded ladies.
With a
love
very
it.
thick beard.
Now, doesn't that make her look worse, Fez?
No.
You're
Look at how
lying.
it brings out the eyes in Katy Perry and in this one.
You're attempting to be gay in a way that doesn't even make sense. You're attempting, you're like, I wonder what the gay answer would be. What's the next? Oh, that's just an ape. That's a fucking hairy ape. Who is that?
It's a bear. It's Carmen Electra.
All right, you've got an eye for the fucking bearded ladies, because I couldn't have told you. Now, that chest hair looks better to you, Fez? That makes her look better. That's a more...
Yes.
I'm nauseous.
You know what?
That's a great chest of hair there.
Oh, God. That's disgusting.
I never thought I'd hear someone say that's some great chest hair.
All right, here's Anthony Cumia, I guess from 79-80. Now, who is that?
That's Alicia Keys, I think.
I don't even recognize.
I think that's Alicia Keys. Could be.
Yeah, that's totally her.
And that
great mustache.
You say great mustache as if anyone... Could you imagine, and I know, Fez, you haven't done a single gay thing, but can you imagine kissing someone that had a mustache? I don't know how women don't throw up.
I think it would be really interesting.
What the fuck?
You know what I feel like I'm looking at right now is the Village People.
Ugh.
This, I'm going to guess, is a Swedish king.
I think it's Keira Knightley.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when they bushed up the eyebrows a lot.
Thank you. It's hard to tell. Someone who has world-class beauty. You just made my point, Fez.
Keira Knightley's gorgeous. And that's a freak monster.
And see, here's the thing, Fez. I want you to know this, because we used to be such close friends. I am not anti-gay, but I am anti-male. And I don't like gay men in the same way I can't stand to be around straight men. That it's just disgusting if I have to spend the afternoon talking with straight men.
Right, so it's just all men.
Yes, it's the masculine gene, whatever that is.
Y chromosome or something?
Yeah, it's like that little fucking popsicle thing that does something weird at the bottom. That I don't like. I don't know. This isn't. I'm going to guess this is somebody from 38 Special.
That's the Twilight girl with mutton chops.
See? You can't even
That's
fucking
Twilight
find
girl?
her.
I thought it was Alicia Silverstone.
You can't even find her. I think it's Alicia Silverstone too now. You have a fucking eye for men with beards, Hicks. You might be.
I'm nailing them.
Yeah, literally.
No.
Would you have sex with women?
No, I would vomit. No, I would not go anywhere
But
near that.
everything else is the same. A nice
I
vagina.
think that's Anne Hathaway.
That's Anthony Kiedis.
But that's a great look at that. This with the chest hair just peeking out. That's what I call man cleavage.
What the fuck?
What do you call it?
Man cleavage. That's what I check out when I look at a guy to see if there's any sort of hair peeking out from the top of the
You
shirt.
like that?
Yeah.
What?
I really look for it. Hello.
Little man cleavage. Now, what about when you got a Hicks and his chest is as bald, basically, as a dolphin's belly?
That's right.
Yeah, it's not as appealing to me, but the weird thing is, it makes me all the more curious
Don't finish
about
that
it.
Oh, God.
Like, all right, I'm not seeing any chest hair at the top, at the collar line, But is there any, like, that I'm missing out on?
Now, do you like...
Missing out on?
Well, then I can't see.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know if you
I
have,
know what you like. You like a bare chest with some tit hair. That nipple, those nipple rings.
Oh!
Why are you...
Now you're basically
I feel
in a priest
uncomfortable
collar.
now.
Here's what you need to do. Do your collar straight up and then so you look like a Mexican jailbird.
Votto.
For some reason, those nip only hairs just get crazy long.
I don't want to talk about this.
Craig, you're on Fez.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
Right now, Fez is just hiding his asexuality if he thinks that these gals look better with beards than chest hair.
I'm going to say something here that I think makes me an open-minded, liberal, fantastic, progressive person. Fez, I completely accept you as an asexual. And when I thought that you were asexual, I never was one of those people who tried to hook you up for a date because I thought it made you uncomfortable. Nor do I feel the need to go out and find you a gay guy to be with because I feel like that makes you uncomfortable.
But I know I'm gay. I'm not asexual. I mean, I'm asexual in the sense that I've never had sex and don't have it.
All right, so factually...
In a Webster's dictionary term.
Or we could say factually you're asexual.
Yeah.
And fictionally you are gay.
Right, and I have to turn fiction into fact.
This is stranger than fiction.
Now, let me just tell you this. Fictionally, Hicks is paying his bills. By the way, I really like the last couple of guests we had. Martha Plimpton yesterday, Ronnie Wood today. Just talked about being broke dick. At times in their life where they really should have had money. Gotta keep going.
Not good with me money.
I do. Well, you're great with your money, Ronnie. You fucking spend it everywhere. You're fantastic with your money.
Having a good time.
He is a trickle-down guy.
He spreads it around.
I don't know who this person is with a top hat and beard. It's part of the ladies with beards. It's up on the iBank today.
Selma Blair, maybe?
That could be Selma Blair.
I'm not 100%. This one's pretty tough.
It's a pretty thick beard. And a lot of arm hair. I'll look for that, too.
What? Come on.
Why do you like arm hair so much?
It's not that I like it. It's that, to me, it's kind of an indicator on how hairy the guy is.
So you like a hairy bear? You like a scary bear?
I don't like my hair. I'm way overboard.
No, you are. You're Robin Williams hairy.
Yeah, my personal body. That's way too much.
But would you be with Robin Williams?
Yeah, I would be with Robin Williams.
So disgusting.
This is uncomfortable.
Even his wife can't.
Oh.
I have no idea who this is. I'm going to say the person who got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar into Islam.
Hey, this might be Alicia Keys, too.
Everyone's Alicia Keys to you. You got to stop.
I'm falling off.
You're fucking racist. You see anyone who looks slightly caramel as being Alicia Keys.
I thought the last one was Alicia Keys, too.
Fez, have you noticed how much Jonathan looks like Billy the Phone Freak? Like young Billy the Phone Freak.
That's who it is. I knew he looked like somebody, but I couldn't figure out who it was.
One of the guys that used to be our producer back in the Ron and Ron shows.
Oh.
The Ron and Ron show was my version of being in the Faces. I don't know who this is. I'm going to say Greg Allman.
It's Megan Fox.
Wow. This is the proof of the pudding that masculinity is what's ugly.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
And I think I'm going to help you out here, Fez. This is why people dislike gays, because you've taken two ugly things, masculinity plus masculinity, and you put it together into disgustingness.
Yeah.
And it's not anti-gay. It's anti-man. Now, I am going to show you something just to get your feedback, to see whether this is a... Oh, that's...
Drew Barrymore?
No, that's the guy that just did O&A show the other day.
Oh, Chris Elliott.
Yeah, that's Chris Elliott right there. No, it's Drew Barrymore, you're right. But now, here's beautiful Drew Barrymore, who looks just like Chris Elliott.
That's not good.
I will say this about men, and Fez does it completely. We know we're hideous, and we don't even fucking try to hide it. And that's why we want beauty in our life. And except for Fez, you just don't want anything. You're asexual.
Yeah, you don't want any sort of genitals or something.
No, I do. I would be gay sexual.
What's that mean?
Where I'm gay, but I just haven't had any sex yet.
I will say this: there's zero excuse for not having sex. Zero.
Come on, get that nut.
Doesn't matter who you are. Now, I want to see whether you think this is a funny joke or not. Right now, one of my favorite comedians is the moderate Mitt Romney. He's a very funny guy. Perfect fucking delivery. Here he is over on Fox. And you got to turn this up pretty good, and I'll set the table for you here. Somebody pulled the Fox satellite feed, and this is before they went on air.
All right.
And as they were doing this, I guess they do an interview with him, and to be able to stretch the interview, they have to make it seem like you came back again tomorrow. So they were offering to have him change his tie, and they came over with a couple of different color choices. And this is the way, so you can fake the audience and, oh, it's not.
Well, not the same thing.
Yeah. Because, like if we were the Today Show, that interview that we did today would go on for a week and a half, where it would just be like, more with our exclusive interview.
They're back today, folks.
All right, so this is Mitt Romney picking out which tie he will use next and having a little fun with it.
This is for tomorrow night, Shane.
This is for tomorrow night. Oh, I'll take the pink one.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you're changing one too?
Play it again, Fez.
Do
it! All right.
This is for tomorrow night, Shane.
This is for tomorrow night. Oh, I'll take the pink one.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you're changing one too?
And then he laughs after. Like, can you imagine?
Oh, he's hysterical. What a creep. And look at how that man just looks around the room laughing to make sure that he connected with everybody else there.
Ronnie Wood did it too. Ronnie made sure everybody was laughing. He kept looking over at Chris and making him laugh like a seal.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's alpha behavior.
And just doing a stereotypical voice about something pink.
Right.
How old is that fucking joke?
So you're not even having fun with it. You're actually pissed off.
Yeah.
For real? Are you for real pissed off? Because this could be your next president.
That's why I'm pissed off. This is a guy who wants to be the leader of every American.
Right.
And he obviously has contempt for a section of that population.
I don't know if I heard that. Could I go back and listen to it again?
If you must.
I don't think it came across as contempt.
This is for tomorrow night, Shane.
This is for tomorrow night. Oh, I'll take the pink one.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you're changing one too?
And there's no explaining that. How is he going to spin this one?
I don't even think he has to. I don't think anyone's asking him about it. We got it from Gotcha Media, but I don't think this is something that's going viral. And I think they got it from Gawker.
It's awesome is what it is. Just straight up fucking hysterical.
I think I'll take the pink one. You don't take that like a little bit as a joke?
No, I don't take it as a joke at all.
Can I explain the joke to you?
Please.
Look at the gays. They act so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, get it?
And their silly pink ties.
There is a kind of a gay voice, though, right?
Oh, he's totally doing a gay voice.
Then that's not a problem. That's just an impression.
No, he's trying to mock out gays like the most important thing in a gay man's world is if he has a pink tie or not.
See, I think this would have been prejudice if he would have went, oh, give me that big old watermelon tie. Then I would have been angry. Or, hey, you got any sushi ties? That I would have been angry. But, hello,
thing.
Get me a pink tie.
That's fine.
I think it's a guy just having fun.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
All right, let me hear it, because I'm not hearing any contempt.
You haven't heard it enough?
Do you honestly think that he doesn't like gay people?
Yeah, I think he doesn't like gay people, and I think when he was running for governor of Massachusetts and was talking about certain gay rights there, that was all a lie, too.
He called that Massachusetts.
This is for tomorrow night, Shane.
This is for tomorrow night. Oh, I'll take the pink one.
Yeah, I got one.
Oh, you're changing one too?
That's awesome.
So that's not prejudiced.
I don't see it.
That's prejudice. That's that guy being a total creep.
What? He's just fucking picking ties out, having fun with everybody.
Here's Jeff. Jeff, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Fezzy, I love you, but I do have a question. Why is it such a big deal for somebody, and I understand could be president, but to talk in a homosexual way, or, I mean, I'm an Irish guy. When people start talking like the Lucky Charms guy, I don't get offended. If you're an African American and you hear somebody talk ghetto, that shouldn't be offensive. That's life. Be mature.
I'm always uncomfortable when somebody starts to talk that way. I actually know a guy on the air when we would have black guests come in. He'd be like this, and I swear to God, he thought he was connecting. He was not trying to mock. And he's like, I know your ass is going to get some of that. And he would always look like, my brother. And like, we would be in between laughing hysterically and cringing. Just like when you saw your dad do something crazy at the mall.
Jesus.
Here's Robert. Robert, you're on the Ron&Fez show.
Hey, Ron. Yeah, I was just wondering if you act like homosexuals didn't exist at all, and you listen to that clip, how is it not that he's just doing a girl voice and pink being a girl color? Why does Fez have to go to it's something about gays?
That's a good
It may be
point.
just him being a girl voice.
Women don't wear neckties.
Oh yeah, that's true. Fez got you on that one.
Face.
But what about Annie Hall?
That may be
No
the
further
one
questions,
exception.
sir. No further questions. I'll take the pink one. Well, that sounds gayer more than it does.
That's not a woman talking. That's a gay man.
I'll take the pink one. It goes great with that cock up my ass.
And then he's just so proud of himself. He just sits there beaming that he got this line off.
It is a good line. Like, hey, could you imagine if I was gay?
Hey, who brought this gay tie to this fucking choice?
That's like when he was campaigning, I think it was in Alabama, and he said he wanted hugs just from the ladies.
So you think he's actually anti-gay, and you think if he gets elected, it may be an attack on gays. You're that worried.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think he would try to...
I thought you were just...
Yeah, I think he would try to reverse some things that have already, happened. Gay strides.
Oh. Here's Eric. You're on Fez. Eric.
Yeah, hey guys, sorry about that. Fezzy, I love you, buddy, but I don't know how you're getting so upset about this. I mean, you got to think about your last, however long it's been, 10, 12 years, where you've been speaking in the same voice. You weren't openly gay then, but you weren't hating on gays.
I'm gay. I can do this.
But before then, when you weren't gay.
Buddy.
No, I just wasn't out of the closet.
Wait, you were gay when I met you?
I didn't know I was gay, but I feel like I've been gay.
I told you that you were gay and you got offended.
Yeah, I didn't want to believe I was gay.
So why then, when you didn't believe you were gay, did you start playing a gay character?
Because I thought it was funny.
Like Mitt Romney. It's the same thing.
I'm not running for office. He has to take some responsibility.
You just said orifice.
Did I?
No. But if you did, we'd all be cracking up. So you're saying at that time that people who run for office can't have the same sense of humor of people who are not running for office.
They have to represent everyone. They have to be above these mocking jokes.
All right. Well, let's go over on the iBang. This will take us to the next conversation. And this is Ozzie Guillen. And Ozzie got suspended 5 days as manager of the Miami Marlins, which are the most gay-friendly fucking team I've ever seen in my life. I mean, seriously, those fucking outfits.
Yeah, that new fucking emblem they have. Oh, boy.
And their outfield and everything about it. They suspended him for something that was very non-baseball related. He said he loved Fidel Castro. Now, that has nothing to do with baseball, has nothing to do with anything else. Would you have suspended him for this?
No. It's fucking the Cold War is over. I'm not worried about communism.
Have you ever lived in South Florida?
No.
Because they don't know that the Cold War is over.
Really?
Yeah, they are kind of anti-Castro.
Oh, really? They're really pissed off. I guess because their whole entire families, a bunch of people's families are still there? Or?
No, there's nobody but black Cubans left there. I don't care. It's almost like the lighter-skinned Cubans came to America.
All right.
And when you see what Cuba looks like now, it's much darker.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like white flight that took place in the 60s.
Fuck.
Yeah, but then no hipster movement bringing back the cool Cuban neighborhoods.
Let's gentrify this place.
All right, let me check with Jonathan. Jonathan, you think he should have been suspended? You're a baseball man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this was his second day as the manager.
Whatever.
Day 2.
Ozzie Guillen's the man. He can do what he wants.
He is, and he's also a very strong manager.
Yes.
I mean, if I started, I understand that he's trouble.
He's fucking a little crazy.
But here was the weird thing. Like, the team, I don't even think was mad at him. They just waited for that. What about you, Fez?
I would have suspended him.
Now, if you look over to what he had to say, this was it. His basic premise was, I love Castro. A lot of people tried to kill Fidel Castro in the last 60 years, but that, I guess, bastard or motherfucker is still here. Can you fucking make a statement like that without everybody acting like it has anything to do with your job?
Yes, because that has nothing to do with baseball. I know he's in Miami with a big fucking Cuban population, right?
Right.
But people are still going to come to the games. There's going to be a part of the population pissed at him, but it's fucking has nothing to do with baseball.
Here's what I worry about.
And he's known as being a little off.
Here's the thing that I worry about, Fez. Let's take this in a different direction, a direction that you can enjoy. Coach of the Utah Jazz. If he says, I'm all in favor of gay marriage and gay rights, he's in a Mormon state, if he got suspended, would you not be furious with the Utah Jazz?
I would be pissed off, yes.
Right, so what you have to do, and this is what my biggest problem with this is, it's basically saying you have to pick the popular opinion all the time, no matter what you're talking about, whether you're talking about baseball, politics, anything else. And most of the time, if you want to protect minority rights, it would not be a part of popular opinion. It would be just the opposite of that. So you're really protecting minorities when you prohibit people to speak their mind. You're not protecting the majority in most cases. Now, the fact of the matter is, he probably could have gotten away with this if he was still in Chicago, even if there is such a thing as getting away with it, which I don't believe there is, because I don't think it's a matter of that. But you're now letting that local majority rule over what is said there. And that's where it becomes dangerous. Do I think it was a stupid statement? When I hear the first part of it, when I hear the second part of it, and if you're a manager of a team, you're thinking of strategies all the time. A lot of business people will sit around and read war books all the time because it helps you market and manage people by knowing what a Patton would have done. And you will hear people go, Rommel was a fucking fantastic general. Now, that's not political. That's military. And what he's saying is you have to love the fact that Fidel was able to go on when the CIA was against him.
Multiple assassination attempts.
Multiple assassination. The mafia supposedly was
embargoes on his entire country.
Yeah, people in his own country who wanted him to die, and that old fucker is still around. I get that statement. I don't find that statement offensive any more than you could act like some bank robber was brilliant or some drug dealer was brilliant. And there is some of that. Let's go over here to Mike in Florida. You're on the Ron&fez show.
Hey, guys. I don't think he should have apologized. And really, it's kind of true in that the working class in Cuba love Fidel. It's the upper middle class that left that hate him. But the people still in Cuba love him.
you know, it's very funny. I've seen things on Castro and Cuba, and as bad as it looks to us down there, the people actually, some of them have a higher standard of living than other island communities. That they actually have health care, where if you go into the Bahamas or Jamaica,
there's nothing, right? There's no
they don't.
infrastructure, pretty much.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know all the political stuff about this. But when it comes back to the freedom of speech thing, I really think that we have to be careful. Particularly when you can see when it gets flipped, Fezzy, you had a different opinion about it.
Yeah, I totally didn't think about it in that respect. But it's also, isn't it like stopping a powder keg from going off? The people in Miami are so passionate about that.
But does that make it right? Does that make it right? Do you have to say now, hey, the Klan gets so passionate about stuff, don't we have to, make sure that they're happy with what we're doing? Maybe we do make sure that there's a, I'll just use Mississippi, and that's a fucking stereotype. But at the time, they were always saying, hey, things are different in Mississippi, where Americans had less rights. Black Americans had less rights there. And we were like, no, we fucking spent decades to kind of bring some of those states around. Here is Richie in Buffalo. You're on Fez.
Hey, guys, this has nothing to do with free speech. It has everything to do with the fact that the management of the Marlins was afraid that people would stop coming to the games. And that's the only reason they suspended him for a 5-game suspension. I mean, if they really felt this enraged about it, they would have fired him, period.
No, I don't. Yeah, I
don't know if he's past that yet.
Yeah, I don't know myself either. And I will tell you this. I was down there, and the people didn't show up to see the Marlins, and they won the fucking series that year. And I saw fucking 30, 40 games in that fucking stadium, and most of them alone. Most of them, I'm serious. It looked like Oakland. Did you see Oakland the other night?
Oh, no.
They drew 2,500 to their third fucking home game. Their third home game.
How is that fucking possible?
The Oakland manager had said something about Mussolini, and the local Italians were furious. He said Mussolini wore great boots.
Oh.
Shiny, fantastic boots.
Just take it as that. I mean, something about his, fiscal policies.
Let's go over to Duke. Duke, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, the standard of living is way better down there. Fidel has, what is it, pancreatic cancer that would have killed any of us here in America. He's still alive. That's how good of drugs they have. They even sent drugs out to Serbia to my uncle to keep him alive with cancer. It's the Cubans in America that hate him over here. They love him down there. We don't like it because it's not democracy. They still have communism, which we hate. They still have dictatorship. But it's awesome to live down there. You don't see anybody else trying to come over here.
Yeah, it has been a long time since, and I remember I was down in Florida when they were fucking floating over on whatever the fuck they could. Yeah, I mean they would use a refrigerator fucking door just try to fucking float over. But we say that, but we've always let the Canadians go back and forth. How come we're not mad at Canada?
Yeah, they got fucking free range.
Yeah. John, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Buddies. Hey, Pepper.
Hi.
Listen, this is going to blow over, look at Augusta. They don't let women play. Biggest crowds ever. A redneck from Florida won.
Yeah, I don't get the connection between the two, but okay. Nick, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie. Would you consider these Cuban Americans hypocritical with what they're doing against freedom of speech and their communism, leaving Cuba for that reason?
It is an interesting thing, and I think what the people are being is emotional. And here's another thing that's just kind of part of the American prejudice that we don't always get. When we use the word Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
As if, hey, you Hispanics. And that doesn't matter whether you're South America,
or in Spain.
Mexico, fucking Cuba. But when I'm down there, the Cuban people, they don't feel any connection to Mexicans or Venezuelans or Puerto Ricans, for that matter. You never see them act like, hey, we're all the same. There was like a mayor's race down there that got really racial, and it was a Cuban against the Puerto Rican.
Well, Mexicans and Puerto Ricans in boxing, if there's a fucking Mexican guy and a Puerto Rican guy fighting, they're fucking go nuts. It's a huge fucking rivalry. It's crazy.
And then the Dominicans, that's a whole other thing. So it's like our prejudice being like, hey, they're both Hispanic. Who gives a fuck?
Get along, guys. I don't see the big problem.
All right, Shower Bench just sent me something very interesting for you, Fez.
Okay.
Life Without Sex, the third phase of the asexuality movement. And I believe that Shower Bench... well, two things Shower Bench would love for you. A, to get back to your faith. Thought that was a major, major mistake. And B, embrace this stuff. Embrace this asexuality much in the way the Catholic priest will embrace. Those two moves, why won't you at least attempt to try?
The faith thing, I've tried going back to church before, and I can't get that same spiritual feeling out of a church or out of the faith that I used to. It's just not clicking for me. And I want to be with another man. I don't want to stay asexual.
So you do view yourself as an asexual?
I have to, because I haven't had any sex in my life.
All right, so you don't even view yourself as gay?
No, I'm totally gay. I just haven't had sex.
I can't understand.
You're gay, but you view yourself as asexual.
I've never heard of a gay person says that.
In the most technical sense, because I haven't had sex before.
No, but in a technical sense...
So you're saying that 13-year-old girls are asexual. They're not straight or gay.
Well, that's what I don't understand about what Shower Bench sent in, saying this is the third stage of asexuality, life without sex. I mean, that's been my whole life.
Well,
it would have been the first stage.
You would have had to read this thing. It's not like, you know.
But I don't think, I'm a virgin.
Would you give it a try? Would you give the church and a sexuality a try?
No, I'm not signing over for either one.
Just a taste.
Just to try it out.
I've tried the church several times.
Just a little bit.
Do you ever try the Catholic Church?
I've never tried the Catholic Church.
That is the real religion. Yeah, it's the real church, dude. You know?
It's fucking dope.
That's like saying, oh, I don't like fucking Spanish food. How come? I went to Chili's. Bullshit, dude. You need to start doing tapas.
Come on, man. Small plates.
I took you to that fucking tapas restaurant. You fucking loved it.
It was fantastic.
Here was the only bad thing.
Okay.
This was... I took him out for his birthday. Birthday brunch.
All right.
And we had like 4 tables there at this little tiny restaurant.
Wow.
And it was delicious food. They just kept bringing it out. But we had to look across the street at the Fourth-Faced Liar. And all I can remember is what Fez was doing with a friend of ours there, making that person uncomfortable.
Oh, boy.
You actually made that person move across the country.
Feel good about that?
No, that wasn't my intent.
Thomas, you're on Fez.
I'm gonna love it when old vitiligo pubes is in the first time in the act of the gay sex, and he's gonna stop and think, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm not even gay."
How often do you fantasize about me in the act?
Why are you angry?
I'm not angry.
You're angry today. Something's wrong. Something you're not
I'm
telling
not
us.
thrilled with Mitt Romney.
Well, he's not here, Fez. All right, you can't get at it. You can't get mad at us because of something that Governor Mitt Romney said. Former governor.
I don't even wear ties, Fez.
If you did, they'd be pink.
No. Black tie.
Is this okay? Fagula.
No, that doesn't sound good at all.
Fagula.
They look like a fagula, you know? Like that. What about that?
He's a little bit of a fagula.
Yeah.
Look at him. I think he's a fagula.
I understand how it's being used.
When you do this with your hand, like when you're tilting it back and forth, how did that get to be gay?
I don't know why that means gay.
Oh, by the way, I was talking to my parents and my father. Well, I'll try to, because I got to be careful because people listen. But there was somebody in one of the young people coming up that wanted to be in radio. You know, contacted me about it. Somebody I don't even think I ever met. So my dad said, yeah, he really wanted to be in radio, but once he came out of the closet, he couldn't. So that really fucking cracked me up.
Sure.
So then I'm like, wait, that's like even one of the kids of somebody who's a cousin. I'm like, I remember those fuckers were gay. Oh. So I go, dude, you got a lot of gays on your side of the family. And my mom goes like this, oh, his side of the family is loaded with them. There aren't any on any of our side. But your grandfather, the weird guys would go after him because he was a very attractive man and he would wear a flower on his lapel. So even back in the day, like, and I'm talking about my grandfather's time, must have been like, you know, the fucking 40s or whatever. And he couldn't go around wearing a nice fucking flower on his lapel without everybody thinking he was a little figula. A little figula.
It's a figula.
You know him. He's figula.
Dandy.
With the handshaking.
It's universal, Fez. Everybody knows that.
I wonder what that means.
Well, yeah.
I got to find this other email that somebody sent me about Fez. And you know what? I've noticed this. You used to take a lot of advice from Shower Bench. You don't anymore.
No.
Get back into it because I think you were doing better then.
You think so?
I know so. You weren't so much of a figula. Figula.
Hey, quit shaking your hands at me and saying that.
How come you laugh though at that? Like that's funny, but Mitt Romney isn't. I don't know when you choose your battles.
Because I
figula.
Because I know
figula.
Right, it's a little much,
but it isn't really that word. Is this more of an Italian word?
It sounds like it. Yeah, like it's the Italian version of that. Chris, undo your top button.
No, I'm uncomfortable after that last conversation.
Because you said the peaking. Bob, you're on Fez.
Yeah, maybe Fez should try a different church. Some of those churches love the fagulas.
Like what?
I'm not sure which church it is, but there's some of them that have homosexual preachers, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think you don't even consider them real churches, right? I mean, for me, that's all like, why don't you just embrace the conquering army? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, why don't you try to be a pagan, Fez? Be a pagan out there in the woods. You're fucking, you're loving trees. You're loving fucking bugs and shit. Mm-hmm. You're just rolling on the ground. You're starting fires.
Get an altar or something.
Yeah, there's an altar. You're fucking having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dancing.
But why do you want to pray to somebody who obviously doesn't like you? Go to one of those other religions. You're like, oh, it's the moon, you know.
I would feel better howling at the moon than sitting in a church.
If you sat in the church, you just feel like a sinner, huh?
No, I just feel like it feels fake to me.
Like the world's biggest fake? Like you're back in the closet in a way.
Yeah, it just feels fake. Like I'm going along, I'm saying the liturgy along with them, and I know that they would,
kill you.
Yeah, if they had the chance.
If you think if Mitt Romney had the chance to do away with all the gays, would he?
Yes, he would.
He would exterminate the gays.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would make sure there was no homosexuality throughout the world. If there was a way to do that.
Mass extermination.
Set up camps.
You know, the Nazis went after the gays, too.
Mm-hmm.
Gary, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
How you doing, Ron? I'm going to do a little Fez math here. I'm a fighter jet pilot. I've just never flown a fighter jet before.
Okay. So
he's doing a joke for you, Fez.
Yeah, I've heard the flying joke before. So, but I can tell you that what I'm interested in, what I'm attracted to, and that's
girls,
men.
Ladies with beards?
Oh.
I thought some of them had helped.
You're just lying.
You're
just honestly lying. Now, the snackman. Do you realize how popular snackman is getting right now? This is a guy who broke up a fight on the subway in New York, and there's a video of him. This is the beauty of people with their cell phones. He broke up a fight, and it got cell phoned, but he kept on eating. And they figured out that he was eating cheddar Pringles and was sitting on a bag of gummy bears. But if you go over to the iBang and look at this, you'll be very, very impressed with this guy. There's kicking and punching, and it looks like it's good. And I don't understand why the guy just didn't get off the train here, too, during the kicking and punching. And look at him. He just stands in the middle of it. Now, not only does he not stop eating, but he never breaks his eating stride. He keeps going, and he's eating these things at a very good fucking pace.
Oh, yeah. He's not letting anything bother him.
No, nothing bothers him.
He really likes those chips. He's hungry. He should get a snack for himself.
Check that out on the iBang. Also, for some reason, the little golfer is just blowing up. It's just exploding out there.
This fucking kid has serious skill. We're going to hear from him.
Does he?
Look at that fucking stroke.
All right, let me see.
I mean, seriously. He's fucking rocking it.
And there it goes to show you, like, you know how you try to overswing, you swing too hard when you golf? This kid barely is fucking moving his body, and it's just perfect.
He's crushing.
It's a perfect little fucking swing. And it's not so much he's driving it even long, it's straight.
He's nasty.
Which now makes you think, are you just born with a fucking golf swing?
This kid certainly was. I mean, 3 fucking years old.
Yeah, but I'm sure his dad had been on him since he was fucking baby.
Like baby fucking golf clubs?
Yeah, he's just been on him since like the fucking moment he was born. You know, like those people who will just like get their kids playing piano right away.
Oh, yeah. And the kid just hates it by the time they hit fucking middle school. They never play again.
I would, though. I wish my parents would have fucking forced me to do something.
Yeah, my parents didn't force me to do a goddamn thing.
No, my parents were like, why don't you just fucking relax for a while? You know, let me make a sandwich for you and get you a nice tea.
Hey, you made it home today. Good. Congratulations.
My mom still feels like I shouldn't ever have to fucking get up out of a chair. Oh, please. You do so much. Let me get it. All right, this is one of those famous Fez emails that came in. And it always reminds me of the fact of people who think more about the show than Fez does. But let's go to this email.
And now, Ron and Fez, the show of the future, brings you...
Electronic mail. Mail sent electronically.
This person was a little disappointed that Fez wasn't helping out the Long Island medium. He said he's not sure whether he believes in that stuff or not, but found it funny when Penn Jillette spoke in a general way about believing in religion or not. Fez was willing to write off his whole belief system behind it. The Long Island medium, if I am to buy the act, put on a greater display of argument and personalized it with details of Fez's own life. When I was listening to the show, like you, I was attempting to put things together for Fez. Because when I would have to go back, and I was just trying to jump in and say, what about this connection, Fez? What about this? When she talked about the 4th, Fez says that he didn't had anything to do with him. That's when his mom left. She mentioned anniversary, and that was the anniversary of his dad's death. She even came in with that whole heavy chest bit, and Fez didn't bring up his heart attacks or his dad's. Maybe it was just the magic of the work, but the fact that Fez would not give her even a little bit, even though he gave himself over to the general argument of Penn Jillette at Unmasked. I'm never really sure on this show what is real and what is fake, so maybe the whole thing was just a work. I see your show as a dysfunctional family. So it was interesting, Fez. That day you were very, very defensive with her, huh?
Yeah, I was. I felt defensive.
Why did you even let yourself come in then? Why didn't you say, this is not something I want to be a part of? Here's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of, like, if someone asked you to slow dance. Like, if you said to a woman, would you like to slow dance? And if she said no, you might be disappointed, but if she would have said yes, then you take her out on the floor and she's barely moving and you're dragging her around, which would be the worst experience.
I thought you wanted to... What's happening?
And I think if we were going... I know you don't like to make love, Fez, but you were, as they would call, a dead fuck with her. You definitely just laid there and would not give back.
Oh, but it's a Long Island medium. She's great.
Maybe she's great. Maybe she's real. Maybe she's 100% carny, but why not roll with it? Why not have some fun? Why, if you're going to do that bit, not go, all right, you brought up these things, why don't I bring them back up to you? Were you more trying to protect yourself there, Fez?
I think I was trying to protect myself, and I was worried about, like, volunteering too much information.
Why?
Because I was like...
You think she was going to come back to your house later and rob you?
No, I wasn't worried about that.
Why? If you're worried about volunteering information, why not just say to me, I don't want to be part of this? And then that would have been, perfectly acceptable. And we're going to find out stuff about anything that she needed to bring up. I wasn't even going to talk to her about specifics.
Yeah. Oh, man, it sounded like it would have been fucking great. I love that lady. I watch her show.
You do?
I just like her because she's from Long Island.
Well, her and her publicist used to listen to us on NEW before they got to be famous. So all like the famous Ron and Fez are in here. I'm with famous people. And they were all excited just to come in. Bruce, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, I don't ever know what's a work and what's a shoot with y'all a lot of times, too, but she asked him for a good 30 seconds about a shirt or a cologne or a flannel shirt or Old Spice, and I thought Fez said he slept with one of his dad's shirts because it smelled like his cologne for a couple of days after his...
all those things that she was saying,
wow.
If Fez, yeah.
But it wasn't Old Spice.
But she's saying a cologne, and you're not even telling her that. You're not even being open. You know what I mean to it. She's saying, even if you go back and listen to it, a cologne, she says, when I get Old Spice, it normally means a man's odor, a cologne or something, and Fez wouldn't have anything to do with it. And then finally he says, well, I do have my dad's clothes in my thing. And something with a car and your brother, and Fez is like, no. Fez had this huge thing that he came back about his brother was trying to sell the truck right away and all this. And I'm trying to get him involved in that, but I don't know why he would want to come in and then not put it over. Let's, by the way, Shower Bench writes in, Mitt's impression was actually pretty good, not too over-the-top caricature. So
another anti-gay sentiment.
Well, I don't think that's anti-gay as much as saying Mitt didn't go too anti-gay with it, just did a nice gay impression.
Just anti-gay enough.
Well, maybe it's just gay, not anti-gay.
Yeah, but negative.
It's just a little fagel, like a little fagel. So you agree with Shower Bench now? Or?
No, I don't agree with Shower Bench.
Sean, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, going back to that golfer, that kid. It's funny you bring up that his swing being kind of like innate. That ball lost him on the Masters this weekend. I don't think he'd ever taken a lesson ever before that. They said.
I wonder how good he would have been if he had. That's the thing.
Focus this shit. Come on, dude.
He says he's never even watched himself swing on a videotape, none of that. But, you know, it did take him the 30s before he won a fucking tournament. Who knows? This guy might have been one in the 7th or 8th. Sharp Bench has also sent this thing in, Fez, for you to look out for. And it is about a devil-worshipping male escort killed his sugar daddy.
Oh, God.
You gotta watch out for that, Fez.
Another older gay guy murdered?
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe we shouldn't be on Daddy Hunt then.
Those stories terrorize me. They panic me to no end. Because I feel like I'm so inexperienced that I feel like I will bring a murderer home and not even realize it.
Well, why do you think so many gays are killers? And gay-hating killers.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's maybe because they maybe think they're the most easiest fucking marks. They can manipulate them the best and get all that cash.
Here's the thing, Fez. Maybe if you stop being sexually attracted to twinks/children, you won't have to worry so much.
Yeah.
It seems like
go up in age.
You know, you're after street boys.
Oh no,
you know?
that's fucking. Those are the guys doing most of these things.
Absolutely. And then there are even if some straight boys who will pretend that just to get close enough to either cut your throat or smack you in the fucking head with a bag of hot nickels.
Just knock you the fuck out, take all your shit.
That's what I'm wondering about this Satan worshipper.
Yeah.
If he was just, you know, playing gay escort.
No, they said gay.
Okay.
He did everything. Stumpy, you're on the Ron&Fez show.
Hey, I'm not trying to be a downer here, Ron, but getting back to the whole psychic thing or whatever, haven't you learned Fez won't help the show? He always tries to impede it from actually proceeding and being entertaining. It's kind of like a stick in the mud, not to sound like an asshole, but
well, what about, not to sound like mud, but he's a stick in the asshole. Might be another way of putting it.
Just not yet.
Oh, boy.
What do you think kept you from, as we say in the business, Fez, going with the bit?
I think I was just being too defensive. I think I was also not thinking wide enough. Like I thought very specifically about Old Spice and couldn't think Old Spice. You know, didn't match that with cologne. It was just being very short-sighted, too.
Mm. All right, we need to break here, but a lot to get to today. Actually, almost too much to get to today. We're almost too goddamn busy today. A lot of people writing in loving that Ronnie Wood. I hope he knows how much he's beloved.
I think he does.
You think?
Yeah. He's been the man for a long time.
I was talking to him after, and I want to see if I can get him to jam with our buddy G-Vac.
Oh,
and
shit.
he said he'd be wide open to it.
Holy fuck.
But G-Vac lives in Tennessee.
G-Vac. Fucked up. Could have did it.
Well, he loves Tennessee, though. Loves it. I'm really thinking about my next move being the mountains.
Mountain man?
Yeah, I lived on beaches most of my life, and now I lived in the city environment. I just think I want to find, I want to be in the mountains, but I want to live close enough to a college town because there's a lot more culture in college towns.
Like a Denver almost? That's like a mountain
town. Denver is like a fucking city. I'd be outside
okay.
of fucking Denver. I want to come back and talk about the suicide forest. Oh. A forest in Japan. Did you find this one, Chris?
I was going through it. This is fucking batshit crazy. The Japanese have this fucking...
Yeah. A forest of people that go and commit suicide. And it is so thick, so lush, that they can't always find the bodies sometimes for years.
So a lot of times you stumble upon bones.
Them bones. No, we got that from like a ton of listeners that were sending that in. I think it showed up I believe on Vice.com is where the video came from.
Nice.
But we will be back in just a moment. Ron and Fez Show.
The Fiesta? It's tonight, right? Better be. That ball drops. I'm gonna grab a slut and I'm just gonna pee in her butt.
It's the Ron and Fez Show. On Wednesday, 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. I've been talking about this suicide forest in Japan. I kind of like the idea that people will all go to one spot to have a suicide, and I'll tell you why. It's a lot less spur of the moment. To know that, let's suppose in this country, we all decided to kill ourselves in Yosemite.
Yeah, go to that geyser.
No, but somewhere. It's a big place. Doesn't have to just be fucking Old Faithful. Could be anywhere at Yosemite. But at least then, you have the opportunity not to do the same thing as if you're at the Brooklyn Bridge, where you're just like, I'm walking to work, fuck it, I'm jumping off here. But you'd have to buy a ticket, get a hotel room, probably have a nice meal.
All right.
By that time, you'll know whether or not you wanted to do it.
All right, yeah. If you had to do that, then that fucking numbers are going to fucking drop like a motherfucker.
And I don't... what I like about this, unlike the Bay Bridge or Brooklyn Bridge, is it isn't so flashy. You walk into the woods, surrounded by nature, and you do this thing alone. Not, I jumped off this and everybody saw me do it.
There's no spectacle. Because they're not finding people. The foliage of this thing is so thick that they'll just walk into it and then never heard of or seen them again.
By the way, just so you know, Yosemite does not have a fucking geyser.
It doesn't? Are you sure?
Yellowstone has the fucking geyser.
I get those two mixed up.
You know what I get it mixed up?
What's that?
You and a dolphin chest.
I don't have any problem with that. There's nothing wrong with dolphins.
You're a hairless girl. And Fez fucking saw that in you.
It's fine.
You're a natural twink. A Mexican twink.
Oh, I'm not Mexican.
How's all the health stuff? Are you getting on some antibiotics?
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Antibiotics?
Yeah, they're coming.
You don't want to do it with... You got to get on that immediately and stay on it.
I know.
Do not... Look at me.
Yeah.
Just because you feel better doesn't mean that you stop taking. You take all the antibiotics.
All right. Medicine's good, right?
You're a fucking asshole today. I see what you're doing.
I'm not being an asshole,
I
seriously.
know. You know what? Fucking Ronnie Wood can come in here and treat me like a fucking friend. You treat me like an animal.
No, never.
Anyway, what were we saying? Oh, I like the idea. The story's up on the iBang, but I like the idea of not so flashy, not stopping traffic.
Yeah.
Where would you put suicide as an option for you? What percentage of you?
Oof. Give me like
100?
That's a bit high. I think it'll be accidental overdose is probably higher than that.
You know, a guy that I grew up with just committed suicide right before my break. And then I'm like, you always do that thing where you're like, I wonder if I could have done something. And then I thought, well, what has it been, 25 years since I saw him? What am I going to fucking do? I don't really know him. I know the person after the fact.
What can you say? Yeah, buddy.
But it always fucks with you. You're like, oh, I wonder when I'll commit suicide after hearing that. So where do you think you're at? Between 99 and 100?
No, I'll give me 20% chance of fucking suicide.
Your chances are way more overdosing, just like...
car accident.
Yeah, I don't even see you in a car accident. Maybe one of those guys that falls between the fucking train and the fucking platform. Gets all spun around.
His head was crushed.
Where is it for you, Fez? What percentage that you would commit suicide?
I would say 2%. Very, very tiny.
It's hard for me to even believe it's that high.
Because I really, really have a fear of death, but I have thought about suicide before, so I'm giving it just an inkling there.
Why would you have a fear of death if that's over?
Because I don't know what it feels like to die, and I have the feeling that in your dying moment, that it just feels like some sort of bizarre, crazy haunted house ride where your
Why
mind
would
just
it?
feels like you're just going on a roller coaster with everything firing off and you're being depleted of oxygen.
I don't see how it's going to be that much different than that feeling that you have when you're going off to sleep, which, quite frankly, you can't remember. Like, try to get up in the morning. Do you remember what happened right before you went to sleep?
Oh, never.
What was the thoughts before? I kind of feel like death's going to be the same way. Like, you're really not going to know.
Yeah, it just goes black.
And then you get that relaxed feeling of not existing, which has got to really feel like you've taken off a tight pair of shoes.
Nothing else to worry about now. Forever. And as soon as I throw myself in front of that fucking subway car, ruin everyone's commute for the day.
Don't be one of those guys. Go off into a forest. Deep, deep forest.
I really dislike the MTA, though. One last fuck you to that.
It's ridiculous. You're the fucking fact that your only thing is to slow down service, and then you feel like you're.
If I'm fucking at the point where I'm going to fucking do myself in,
What
I might
about-
as well take it out in the place that's given me so much fucking anger during my life.
Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
I get you like a pair of horns to wear on the top of your head.
Okay.
And you're on the tracks just running at the train like you're going to knock the train off, and they're like, that fucking idiot thought he was a bull.
That could be good, but see, that would give it more of a chance of the fucking thing hitting its brakes.
I think the thing to do if you were going to commit suicide was make it look like you had a really bad idea. Like, go to the Empire State Building with some fake wings and make an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to fly to Los Angeles. Jump off the wings, go flying. And they're like, that dick.
What you gotta do is start a Facebook page beforehand so they'll check it out and find it and make like a bunch of posts leading up to it saying, I think the device is ready. I'm finally going to test it out.
That's fucking great. I didn't even think of that.
Gonna test it out today. Wish me luck. Hashtag fucking Empire State Building.
We're ready for human trials.
How would you do it, Fez?
I would have to try to do some sort of overdose, because I
They
can't...
don't work. It doesn't work. People can't overdose. I'm proof of that. And overdose, now you'll never even know that you're dying or whether you're going to wake up or not. Oh, the overdose is just, you're just living a life.
But I wouldn't be able to cut my wrists. The hanging... I wouldn't be... I don't think I could physically take the razor into my skin. Like, it would start to hurt.
Oh, the risk is pretty
And then
lot
I would
easier.
back off immediately.
You really do have a low tolerance of pain.
I'd rather slit my wrist than slit my own throat. I think that would be a lot more fucked up.
I wouldn't like this feeling of slitting your own throat.
Just fucking
When you're
blood's
you're
flying
trying
out.
to get the fucking breath and you can't.
You're just fucking choking on blood. Fuck. Classier to slit your wrists. Maybe more women. A woman, I think women will tend to slit their wrists more. At least what movies and television have told me.
I think women do the pills more than anything.
Right.
That's why they have there's work a lot less. And then the other thing, that gives you time to make the stupid phone call, which means you never wanted to kill yourself. You just want to bother people late at night.
You could have done it without taking 30
I hope you're so happy now, Tom.
You happy what you did to me for?
You've got your fucking way. I'm dead now.
No, you're not. You're calling me. I guess I'll call an ambulance.
You ever gotten the I'm going to commit suicide fucking call?
No, I haven't got that.
You have to fake that. Come on, don't. You got a lot to live for. You do. I don't know. Like, you're fucking good with different stuff and all.
Yeah, some compliments. Did I feel better?
Everybody thinks you're a great checkout girl, and that's just going to get fucking bigger. You know, that's just going to keep fucking rolling. You know, you got that.
Come on, don't feel bad.
You got your pet?
Yeah, you got yeah, get an animal for yourself.
Who's going to take care of that cat now?
Holy shit. This is just up on CNN, the guy who believes he's Manson's son. And it's Marilyn Manson.
That's a fucking coincidence.
Marilyn Manson would love to be Manson's son.
I think a lot of people would be.
Kyle, you're on the Ron&Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie. Fez just said he doesn't have, well, yesterday Fez doesn't have a very good tolerance for pain. How's he going to take a big juicy cock in his ass if that's the case?
Why do we got to turn everything back to gay talk? Todd, Pittsburgh, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, I got to disagree with you. I think if you're going to go out, the more public, the better. Like a Bud Dwyer type of situation.
Yeah,
and
on TV.
Do right at the Super Bowl.
All right. I just don't like people who feel the need to take other people with them. That always annoys. Corey, you're on Ron&fez.
Hey guys, I hate to get off topic, but going back to you saying that you wanted a new scenery, have you ever been to Asheville, North Carolina?
I have.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, we've got a lot of microbrews down here. I mean, it's a really cool counterculture type city. It's sort of touristy in some areas, but it's I think you'd dig it. If you ever want to come down, Pep, we got I think most microbreweries in the East Coast and some dank weed for you and a place to stay. So just let me know when you're ready.
I think it might come down because doesn't fucking Dave go down there see family?
Yeah, he does.
See his chick's family?
Mm-hmm. Right around Nashville, yeah. Lots of people live down there. They fucking love it.
It's nice. Plus, it gives you that whole Kenny Power vibe.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it could be the next move. Just up in the hills somewhere, living in a fucking cabin. I wonder how long it would take me to get sick of it, though. It just seems nice. You know, it just seems like something I think that would be great.
You think it would be a short time span, or maybe like would you get like a couple of years into it before freaking out?
No, it'd probably be weeks if I decided I didn't like it.
Okay.
Honestly, I could settle in any place. I'm not one of these people that I can only act like I can live in one place. I mean, I love New York City, but I can live anywhere and fucking find the cool people to hang out with.
Well, every place does have its own scene. You just gotta look for it.
Yeah. Or some people can go to a fucking great city and never find the scene. They can fucking move next to it, never find it.
Oh.
They just don't want to.
Maybe we should just all move to right next to this mountain in fucking Japan.
Suicide Mountain?
Yeah.
I'll just fucking say, I'll buy gold right here from you. Because you know that everyone sleep with something in their pockets.
And they're leaving shit behind.
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, let me get your keys, because you're not going to be using any of this
What
shit.
the fucking you two say, though? You got to leave it behind.
Well, we'll be there to pick up the pieces, though.
Oh, so you know you're fucking going with average white band. Pick up the pieces. I understand. I want to get over to this. I think this is going to be... I think Sweet Brown is going to be the next big thing. And Matt sent this to us. By the way, thanks to the people who got the golfing kit up on Reddit. Reddit's fucking exploding for that today on the iBang.
Nice.
This is Sweet Brown. Her house caught on fire. And I hope it just keeps on catching on fire because she's just the best person ever.
The complex was on fire.
Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop, and then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got me. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Why'd they only give us that much?
I don't know. Let's go back. I don't know why she doesn't have her own show. She's the fucking best ever. I like when people, they don't, you know, they will be entertaining like that. I'm not going to fucking give it to you half-ass. You got a camera, I'm ready to be entertaining.
Sweet Brown jumping on it.
Yeah.
Well, I woke up to go get me a cold pop, and then I thought somebody was barbecuing. I said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus. I ran for my life. And then the smoke got me. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Why would they just... The people editing this thing together, there has to be more of fucking Sweet Brown.
Yeah, they gotta have more. I'd like to bring her in with the Long Island fucking person. I know she would have fucking been ready to go with it. The Bearded Lady is also blowing up today. Thanks for whoever put that on Reddit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking super amounts of love.
Yeah, I love the iBang fucking people because they're helping us prep the show now. They help us prep the show. They find great stuff. They send it to us. We put it up and it ends up being talked about. The verbs are up there today. And I was wrong about the golf. Golf not on Reddit. Bearded ladies on Reddit. Boom. Let's go over here from Jack. Jack, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm a little late in the conversation for this, but tell Hans Bonanza or Zito, whichever one of those half-wits was in charge of queuing up music to stoke up Needle in the Hay with all the suicide jab.
Well, we're not into that in a big, big way anymore. We like to go. Yesterday, we didn't even plug in our 360s. Today, basically not touched. After all that stuff of putting the replays together, we just leave them be. So I was telling you that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff is coming in, but you got Guns N' Roses being presented by Green Day. That's gigantic. Freddie King, Billy Gibbons, and Dusty Hill. Don Kirshner is being put up by Carole King. The Miracles are being presented by Smokey Robinson, which I don't even know. That doesn't seem fair. This is backup band. Lauren Nero, Bette Midler is bringing her out. You know, Bette was at the Bruce show that we were at.
Nice.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, who would you think should be doing Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Probably another California guy. I think even Green Day would have been a better thing for fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers instead of Guns.
Chris Rock is bringing them out.
Wait, what? Chris Rock is bringing them out?
Everybody like the Chili Peppers. Everybody want to see the Chili Peppers play.
That's cool and a fucking strange choice.
I think it's a great choice. And in the Faces, Stevie Van Zandt, which, let's be totally honest, that always works. Same with if Robbie Robertson is going to come out. Now, the Beastie Boys, there's a good one. Who would bring out the Beastie Boys?
I would say maybe like a Flavor Flav or something. Some old school.
You're very, very close. Because if it ain't Flavor Flav, it's
Chuck D.
Chuck D.
Wow, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, you're on top of that. Now, for Guns N' Roses, rather than going Green Day or somebody before, I think they should have had somebody old school. I think somebody from the Stones or Led Zeppelin welcoming Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Green Day, that's fucking weird. Because, I mean, Guns is still touring, but, you know, Green Day's still putting out albums and still blowing shit.
Here's the problem, though. It ain't Green Day that's touring that's going to go in. It's it's not Guns N' Roses touring that's going to go in. It's the original.
Yeah, the original lineup.
Now, I also want to know this. How the fuck can Earl and Eddie sit around and bitch about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when they got a fucking class like this?
No Kiss. No Manowar. No
By the
Deep
way, it
Purple.
would not hurt you to throw Kiss in here. No one would give a shit. They're putting the crickets and the comments in. It looks like a lot of backup groups here going. Oh, here's an odd one. Donovan.
That's fucking cool.
Now, who would go in for Donovan? Who would be the person who put...
maybe like a David Crosby should put in Donovan.
I would think one of the young, sensitive singer-songwriters today.
Someone who Donovan really influenced.
Who was that? Like, it's a fucking Pakistani name that the girls like.
Oh, not the MIA, is it?
No,
the dude?
Not fucking MIA. You're just fucking talking crazy now. But the person putting him up, and this doesn't make any fucking sense to me, is maybe, I don't know, John Mellencamp. I don't know whether I say that makes sense.
Now, who picks? Are these? Is there any like connection, like personal connection? Is that why these guys are being chosen, or does the whole?
You know, a lot of people just grew up fucking loving people. Just because you don't sound like that person, don't mean that you don't love them when you're a kid. Here's Lauren from down the hall. Hey.
Hey, Ronnie, what's up?
Hey.
I wanted to talk to you about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think it's a bunch of crap because you have people like Tommy James and the Shondells, Kiss, Rush, all these great bands that are not in there. and yet they'll put in Grandmaster Flash over these guys. It's freaking.
Well, now you sound a little racist, because Grandmaster Flash, seriously, Grandmaster Flash belongs in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Legend.
Yes, but I think that Tommy James deserves to go in before him.
I will say this. I would have Tommy James in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, the reason why they don't is some people thought he was a little pop. But I've had him on the show, I think twice now. I think he's just terrific.
He's one of my all-time favorite artists. I mean, he wrote all his own stuff. I mean, I think I think the Love and Spoonful should be in, too. That's another great band that's not.
I would have had the Love and Spoonful in as well. See, you notice, though, that they're a little harder on pop groups, though?
Yes. Well, I mean, it all has to do with the politics of who's on the board that decides who goes in and who's not, which is why Kiss hasn't been in yet.
It all comes down to Jan Winter and whatever his record collection is.
Yep.
And you can't get too... I mean, you also can't have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with everyone in it. I mean, there's actually too many people going in here. You're putting in more people this year into this than they put in baseball in 5 years.
That's true.
And I like the fact that baseball, it's really fucking hard. Yeah. Like, there's guys that I loved growing up that I still think are great ball players that will never get near, don't even get nominated going to baseball.
That's true. It's just too much politics behind the scenes on both sides. It sucks. I think that, it should come down to the people should vote in. Fans. On both sides. Baseball, rock and roll, the fans should vote in.
No, I think just the opposite. I think the fans are probably the least to know, or else you would just have people...
Everyone would be in.
Every boy group would be in there, and they don't belong in there. And if you wanted to make it with the fans, Kiss has done that. Did they make it with the critics? No. And they went out of their way not to make it with the critics, so they shouldn't have their feelings hurt now that they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I certainly would never be sitting around bitching. Now, I don't know how you could have a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame without putting Daryl Hall in the fucking thing.
That's so true.
And yet, the critics were never on the side of Hall & Oates. And you know what some of it was, Fez?
What's that?
People thought they were gay. Because of fucking Oates having a mustache.
Oh my
Oates looked like a guy that you would see, at the YMCA.
Yeah. I mean, that was a crazy...
They thought that was very gay. Instead of calling themselves the fucking Silver Beavers, and there's one with, Hall's got his fucking... He's like, looks like a short, tight haircut.
Uh-huh.
And then there's, of course, the other one, Oates, has got his shirt off.
Is this woman with beards?
No, it's not women with beards.
Oh my God, I feel bad.
Let's go over to Sean. Sean, you're on the Ron&fez show.
Hey, one thing that's always annoyed me about Hall of Fames, and especially the Baseball Hall of Fame, is where they purposely won't vote someone in that they plan on voting in the next year because they just don't want them to be considered first ballot. It shouldn't matter if they're first ballot or not. If you think they should make it in, they should make it in.
There are some people that vote for baseball that won't vote people in because they don't want it to be 100% either. And they'll be like, well, Mickey Mantle didn't get 100%, so I don't want anybody to get 100%.
Just that pure fucking spite.
Let's go over to Anthony. Anthony, you're on Ron&fez.
Hey, Ronnie. You said you were talking about some bands are too pop for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was in there. They're about as fucking pop as you can be.
Maybe they just wanted to get Swedish people to want to come to it.
What about Warren Zevon? Man, Warren Zevon should be in over ABBA. Fucking crazy.
Now, here's the interesting thing. If you let the fans vote, would Warren Zevon get in? Never. Because
Not
he
enough
never
people liked him.
Fucking pulled enough. Now, and Hicks loves Warren Zevon.
He's a fucking one of the greatest fucking songwriters ever. If for his songwriting, he should fucking be in.
Now, does that make Hicks wrong and the fans right? You're never going to have 100% agreement.
No.
Never. It's never going to come down to that. John, you're on the Ron&fez show.
Yeah, every year this comes up and I get more frustrated with it, but if I'm not mistaken, Deep Purple is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but yet ABBA, Madonna...
I believe that you are correct.
It's a joke. And any kid who's played guitar, anybody who's ever played guitar, "Smoke on the Water" is the #1 song you learn to play guitar, but yet they're not in. It's bullshit.
All right, but yeah, let's take this back. And let's say, I know that there's a lot, and by the way, Stevie Van Zandt is on the board of this. But let's say in terms of critics, have they ever been big fucking fans of Deep Purple? No, it just doesn't work that way. Now, they eventually got around to letting Sabbath in, but I don't think they were his first balloters. Now, Metallica is next year, and I guarantee you, I'm going to guarantee you today, they're going to go in his first ballot.
Yeah,
And they
it's
should.
impossible for them not to.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they should.
But they were always liked, as a metal band, they probably have been liked better by critics than anyone.
Yeah, they got over fucking with the Black Album or whatever, and that's when all the fans said they started to suck. I don't know. I like the Black Album.
Well, even before that, I think the critics were pretty pro. Radio was actually fucking hard on Metallica. Radio didn't play Metallica until probably late 80s at best. At best. And even then, only at night, they partying them.
Party at night, fuck it. Come on, metal.
Alright, it is the Ron and Fez show. Here's always a fun story. Football players going fucking crazy. This is Colorado. I think it's Colorado State players who stomped the shit out of some freshmen. Fez, you'll like this. They yelled anti-gay slurs. The freshmen then returned the slurs, and the football players got out and stomped the shit out of these kids so much that it looks like you're lucky somebody didn't get killed. Look at if you can see the picture of the footprint left in the back. You might have to click onto the actual thing. Keep going down and see if you can find the boot print that was left in there. They beat the shit out of these kids, though. Now, Fez, do you see this as an anti-gay move?
Yeah. It's totally anti-gay, whether the victims were gay or not. That's the reason why they got beat up. They were perceived to be gay.
Well, but then the freshmen actually yelled the gay slurs back at the football players. So in this case, the football players were also perceived to be gay, which means finally gay people win one?
I'd say, oh, there we go.
I might be wrong about that, though.
Christ, there's a straight up fucking cleat print, I guess that would be.
I don't know if he was wearing cleats, but it's definitely the boot.
Yeah, you see the sole of the shoe imprinted on this guy's body.
Fez, as you as a newly openly gay person,
yes,
do you constantly feel like this could happen to you?
I worry about it all the time.
Really?
Yeah, that I don't. It's very weird. I feel like I've been more open about who I am, but I feel like if I'm walking down a street, I feel a little less safe. I've noticed I'm more nervous around people that I don't know, and I'll avoid different streets or something if I see somebody that I don't think is on the up and up. Yeah, I worry about this.
What is this ungaydar that you have that you think that somebody's dangerous? What do they look like? Like if you saw Jonathan and Hicks walking down the street, would you think you don't know them?
I would be afraid of Hicks.
What am I going to fucking
And
do?
you think Jonathan just looks gay?
Yeah, Jonathan I wouldn't see as being threatening.
Because he's gay looking?
Wow.
I don't know if he's gay looking. He seems very docile.
He's got a fucking map of, like a pirate map tattooed on his back.
Yeah.
And he says it's a working map.
Now, what if I
see if he's shirtless, then I'm scared.
What if I got some of these buttons undone? Would you?
I would probably check it out and then turn the other way.
So you check out people that you work with?
Oh God!
Yeah, I check out guys.
Oh,
dude, that's not fair. This should be a fucking place where everybody feels safe.
I'm not doing anything.
But the fact that you're leering fucking keeps this. This is always a show that no one wants to work for. And I'm wondering why, if that's it.
Luckily, I never go to HR unless they ambush me.
I'd rather go to PR than I would HR.
Yeah, PR got some beaches and shit. No one's gonna bother you, I guess.
And you can, you meet those girls that if they don't fucking beat you up, they will be great in bed. Look what it is. It's our old friend. I haven't talked to him in forever. The Blowhard.
Hey, guys. Hey, welcome back, Billy Hayes. Glad you had a nice vacation.
Thank you.
Question. When Eddie Trunk was on your show, he was giving Steven Tyler so much crap for being a judge on American Idol. And yet, the last 2 nights, KISS have been on Dancing with the Stars. I'd like to hear Eddie's opinion. Johnny, if you could convey the question. How does Eddie Trunk feel about KISS being on Dancing with the Stars and the band leader dressing up in KISS makeup and them dancing to heavy metal songs, doing the salsa and the cha-cha, just orchestrated versions of metal?
I never watch these shows, and I never understand them.
I just go channel surfing, and then I happen to see, like, the band leader wearing, the star in the eye and everything. It was just absurd that KISS was, like, the theme for this week's show.
Mm-hmm.
And when Eddie's getting all over Steven Tyler, who's one of my favorite people, by the way. And with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, KISS is a novelty act. I saw KISS at the Garden in the late 70s. They were never known for their prowess. They were never known for their talents. It was just a gimmick. It was a guy spitting blood, shooting flames. They were never a serious band back in their prime, if you're going to call it a prime. They're a joke. You're right about the Archies. They belong in there before. Tommy James and the Shondells, no question about it, a band ahead of its time. I would even put Gary Puckett and the Union Gap ahead of KISS.
Wow.
It's just a joke that people consider KISS such a great band. And, when you're a kid back in the day, Ronnie, remember those rock and roll magazines we used to get? They used to have, like, these polls, and it would be like best guitarist, and it would always be the guys from KISS. Best drummer, guys from KISS. They were popular, but they are not very talented, and now they're just selling their souls more than any band or any entertainment venue you can think of. Who sells more and who wants to sell more than KISS? It's just...
But don't you think that they've been upfront about that? Don't you think that they came in, with that whole KISS army and all that stuff, like they specifically wanted to sell out. They wanted to be commercial.
Yeah, I guess it was true. And then when they really went too far with the KISS coffin and everything, but at the time when they came out, the two bands that there's a lot of revisionist history, Bon Jovi came out, another band that people love, and they were a chick band.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the early days when they put out Runaway, we would laugh at bands like that if you were like a serious metalhead. And the same with KISS. They were just laughable. And if you go to a KISS concert, it was noisy. It was annoying. I saw them at one time without their makeup at Radio City. And it was horrendous. So for people to go on and say KISS belongs... No, they don't. I think it's...
What do you think of KISS fans, guys that have held on? Because basically when they came out, they were a band that was more like by 12 and 13-year-old kids than they were by like college-age students.
Yeah, it was the merchandising and the look. People loved the fact. And when you'd go to the show, people would dress up as their favorite, get the makeup as their favorite character. And one guy is the cat, one guy is the spaceman, or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's Cat and Spaceman.
I mean, I remember Madison
Robot
Square
Monsters.
Garden.
Star Child.
Yeah, in 78, I think it was, I saw them at the Garden. I got some free tickets. And they had a giant, this is like when they started bringing in those giant screens for the first time for concerts. And they just had the camera on Gene Simmons' face, and he was just spitting blood, and it was just so juvenile. And to take them seriously as artists, I mean, maybe what they do is artistic in their minds, but their music just sucks. Just go through their albums, go through all the albums, and other than hearing rock and roll all night at a strip club, there's not much. There's no there.
You don't have any love for Detroit Rock City?
Oh, and how about when they went disco? I Was Made for Loving You, like a lot of the bands did. It's just an atrocious group, and they're just.
There you have it, Hard Rock fans. Blowhard is calling you out. And he's basically saying, not only do KISS not belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you're basically saying that this isn't even rock and roll.
It's just, if you listen to the songs, there's not much quality, and it's just produced just like I said, originally a gimmick group, and then it became the merchandising, and everybody liked the look, but. All
right, let's go over here to Mike. Mike, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, Blowhard, for someone who hates Kiss, you sure have seen them a lot of times.
Well, I worked in the industry for many years, my friend, and sometimes you get free, and it's a night out on the town. You go backstage, you can drink for free, eat for free. I saw them twice. How's that? That's a lot?
Well, twice is a pretty decent amount.
Well, the first time I saw them was when they were in their prime, when they first came out, with the makeup at the Garden, and that was just free tickets that a friend's father got me. And the second time I went, because the opening band at Radio City was on my label at the time, a band called Accept, a heavy metal band from Germany, and Kiss, and I said, I'm going to go and check it out. That's what I picked.
Here's Dave from Tennessee. You're on with the Blowhard.
Blowhard knows an awful lot about them to hate them. There's been lots of theatrical bands, Alice Cooper, Queen, a bunch of bands.
And I respect those bands. Alice Cooper, to me, is the father of the whole genre of that type of rock and roll. But Alice Cooper made quality music compared to Kiss. That's simple.
So did Kiss. Go watch them at Winterland, San Francisco in '75. You can YouTube it.
I think they should learn how to play their instruments, and they should learn how to play.
I'm telling you right now, if Kiss quits in '77, they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, they are. Just go look at it.
Here's Phil in New Orleans. You're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie B. I gotta say, a lot of what Blowhard is saying is true, but they do have some good classic rock songs. Dr. Love, Slow Jan. Those are good, solid rock and roll songs, man.
I forget it. What is your big problem with the albums, Blowhard? Not so much even the stage show, what you brought up, but do the albums work for you at all?
No, not at all. I had a friend who was a diehard Kiss fan, and it would always, as we used to say, blow the head when we were all getting stoned in the basement, and he would go on and put on some of his Kiss albums. It would just destroy the mood. It was just awful. And, again, I wasn't, listening to, anything considered cool or hip. I was just digging Judas Priest. I was digging, Ozzy and some Sabbath and stuff like that, Deep Purple at the time. But when Kiss came on, it was just like, what the fuck is this shit?
Here's Matt. You're on Fez.
Yeah, hey, Ron, I think it's the first time I ever agreed with Blowhard. I think that Kiss was all about stage presentation, and that's it. Their music.
That was the original intention. I really believe that.
Oh, I think so, too, and that's why even to call them sellouts, the reason I would disagree was because I think they came in. I think they're true to who they were the whole time, where they were always about this is about spectacle and silliness and kind of Halloween. Nate, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, buddies. Hey, Blowhard, are you just mad because the entire band of Kiss can digest sugar and your dumb diabetic ass?
I see that has nothing to do with it.
Hey, I just ate a Hershey bar. Go fuck yourself. I'm doing fine.
Oh,
man.
fuck you toeless bastard.
All right, stop it. Here's
you love me. You took the time to call. I appreciate that.
Here's Mike in Poughkeepsie.
Hey, last night, I hate to admit this, but I watched Dancing with the Stars, but Kiss was on there, and they did a song from Animalize. Okay, it's all the original guys doing a song with the makeup, doing a song from when they didn't wear makeup, and Eric Carr was the drummer, Vivian Campbell was the guitarist. I think that's kind of weird, don't you think?
Well, I don't even think it's the original guys now. Eddie even said that they're back wearing the old makeup.
Because Gene and Paul want all the money.
866 Ron Zero Fez. Hey, here's our buddy Hard Rock Johnny.
Hello, boys.
Hey, Johnny.
What's up, Blowhard? Eddie was furious and very embarrassed for Kiss, he said.
Oh, was he?
He's got integrity.
Of the 575 Twitters he put out in that hour of his tweets, there was at least 200 of them were about Kiss. And yeah, I think they should be in the Rock Hall because they helped promote a genre that kind of went out there. They're kind of like the originators of the glam rock kind of thing. So, and look, they're influential in the music world, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But are they the greatest bunch of musicians in the world? Absolutely not. But they're still influential.
But here's the thing: if you're going critically, right, and you influence something in the wrong way, does that mean that you should get an award for it?
Did they influence Guar? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Who did they really influence?
I'm sure if you sat down and talked to a number of artists that were in the 80s into the 90s. There's a lot of them that were influenced by...
But guess what, Johnny? Those shitty hair metal bands aren't going to get in either.
Some of them will. I mean, you look at...
Who, Cinderella?
I'm hoping for White Lion.
No, seriously. I think those bands are not going to get in. I do think that you'll see like a Bon Jovi and a Motley Crue, but I don't think that they're going to let in the majority of those bands.
No, absolutely. Nor should they. I mean, it's not... And, that's the whole other thing with this. I mean, it's these are all left up to interpretations of... Everybody has their own opinion on it, The Rock Hall has their opinion. Blowhard has his. Eddie has theirs. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. So, you can't... just like the regular Hall of Fame, like for baseball, there's going to be a whole slew of guys going to get in because they were in the steroid era. They're not going to get in. There's guys like McGuire. There's guys like Bonds. There's guys like Rodriguez. Most of those three guys will not get into the Hall of Fame, at least on a first ballot, like they probably would have if the whole thing didn't happen with steroids. So there's going to be people who are excluded from it, and that's what that's the great thing about it, because then we can all talk about it.
I think that when Kiss first came out, though, there's like a lot of revisionist history of them being this great band and great this and that, because when they did first come out, they just stressed the stage show, and that's basically what they were selling. It wasn't about the music. The music was
I thought they were a little kids band when they first came out, if I'm going to be totally honest. That whole stuff about get the patches and join the army, it was fucking embarrassing.
And when you mention albums,
yeah,
I mean, do we ever think of one Kiss album that's an excellent album? Think about every group that we know and that we love, but when you think of Kiss, is there a standout album that's like a masterpiece? I don't know any.
Kiss Alive 1 was a great album, and that was one of the first live albums that came out there, and it was good. Now, was it all
First of all, that's a crazy talk, just saying that it's one of the first live albums that came out.
And it wasn't exactly Phantom Comes Alive either, come on.
Of course not, but it was a great live album. It was in that genre. There weren't many metal bands, or whatever you want to call them, that were rock bands like that were doing the live thing, and I think it was a great album. But again, that's my opinion.
Deep Purple had fucking live albums out before that, and
it was 75 when that came out.
Yeah, most fucking bands had live albums out before that. Here's Jerry, you're on Fez.
Thanks, Johnny. I love you. Blow hard, sort of.
And I love you, and I love you too, Johnny, if it matters.
All right. But 2 words, Neil Bogart. They were the monkeys. That's all.
Yeah, Neil Bogart, who also... basically, did you had somewhat of a disco label when he brought them out?
Casablanca Records.
Well, did he bring them out first on Casablanca, or then he did Boardwalk after that, right?
Yeah, I think Casablanca was his main moneymaker.
Right. Did you know him back in the day, Blowhard? Did you know him?
I knew of him. Dance music was the forte of that label,
right?
And the guy
like Donna Summer and fucking Village People.
You had guys like him. You had guys like Robert Stigwood who were putting out records.
Right.
A lot of that music. But like I said, the Kiss thing, it was just known to be, and fans would come after the show. It wouldn't be, wow, man, they sounded great. It would always be, wow, did you see the fireworks? Did you see the pyrotechnics? Did you see the spitting of the blood? And did you see I mean, that's what the band was about. And the music was always, to me, anyway, in my opinion, secondary, and it never really improved. And putting out some simple songs like Love Gun and everything, to me, it just didn't mesh at the time with the Judas Priests and the Ozzy Osbournes and the more, if I can say the word, I hate to use this word, but the more serious rock of that genre.
Okay, you've expressed that. Here's Frank. Frank, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? I like everybody else, I hate it, and I'm agreeing with the blowhard here. But my sister was a teenager, and her and her friends listened to hard rock, and they didn't listen to Kiss. They listened to Nazareth, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, even Kansas, Steve Miller. But Kiss was a kids band. It was for kids 10, 11, 12, not the kids that were 15, 16, 17, like my sister and her friends.
They were kind of like the band from Croft Super Show. Let's go over to Frank. Frank, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Oh, all right, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Hey, man, the guy who for a guy who doesn't like Kiss as much. I mean, honestly, it sounds like you know this band enough to write a damn book about it.
Well, I worked in the industry for many years.
Oh, I know you did. I know.
You know, it's like it's what you do, and you have to look at the product, whether it's your label, another label, and it's just it's just common knowledge.
Too much makeup? Is it because they work too much makeup, or because they just I don't know, man. They're a decent band, and you're right. Sometimes it can be annoying and too much shit, but you know, for being around as long as they have, I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not great. I agree with you there.
Well, up until his death, Davy Jones was still performing, rest in peace. But the Monkees were never critically acclaimed. I happen to like the Monkees. But
did they go in the Hall of Fame, Monkees?
I don't think so.
Here's Mike. Mike here on the Ron and Fez show.
I'd say Davy Jones definitely, but that's just me because I'm a fan of the Monkees. But I like the pop music they put out, and I liked the sound. But they were never considered a serious band.
And they actually, at the time, were outselling the Beatles and fucking Stones.
And apparently the Beatles were fans of the Monkees.
You know, that's why Lauren down the hall doesn't make any sense when she's like, let the fans vote. That's the last fucking people you want to vote. The fans eat shit most of the time. If the fans had their way, seriously, Transformers would win Oscars.
But that's why I cringe when I listen to your show and I hear somebody like Zito talk about the merits of a Justin Bieber or a Timberlake. I just cringe when I hear grown men getting into Justin Bieber music.
Well, you know what? The thing about him, though, is that he does, like, top 40 radio, and he becomes interested in the fact of who the kids like.
Well, I guess he wants to work in the industry, and I guess he wants to stay on top of it, and that's fine. But, you know, even the other day when they were, like, you know, some people were running down Joe Walsh when you played that song, the Analog Guy.
Analog Man's awesome.
Now fucking Hicks loves him. He just didn't know his music.
That Hicks didn't know who Joe Walsh was and his music, but then again, I guess the Hicks generation didn't grow up with the classic rock radio, and I mean, to me, Joe Walsh is one of the anointed ones. Joe Walsh is one of the greatest guitarists, and he continues to still play. And I always loved Joe Walsh, and some people were giving him a hard time when you were playing that song, but.
I think a lot of people end up, and I know, like, well, I thought Analog Man was a funny fucking song just because the lyrics was so bitchy. But then when we started going over, Joe Walsh, between all the projects he's done, has a lot more huge fucking hits than I ever imagined. Let's go over to let's go to our buddy Andy in Cleveland. Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, look, I could really care about Kiss. I'm kind of ambivalent about it, but the way I look at them in their place in music history is they're kind of like the Andrew Lloyd Webber of rock music. You know, people get on Webber, they say it's not this puff, they say it's light, it's all spectacle, it's explosions, it's Phantom of the Opera, it's people in cat suits. But the fact remains, it puts butts in seats and introduces people to a genre that they may have not ever experienced before and may be willing to experience after having seen that.
See, I don't know. That would be like saying, hey, let's all thank Michael Bay. And I don't think Michael Bay ever does anything for the art. I think he does it for himself, and I don't think he needs an award for that.
And for the genre, if you're talking about Broadway, there's a million shows I would rather see than Phantom or Cats. And if you're talking about opera, I would go straight in and listen to some hardcore Puccini or, you know, even some Wagner, as opposed to some lightweight fluff like Andrew Lloyd Webber. That's just me.
But at the same time, Phantom of the Opera has done $850 million.
So what?
Well, Donnie and Marie sold millions of records back in the
70s. So did the Monkees, so did the Beatles.
Right.
So what, though? Why is that important, Johnny?
Because it's all about personal taste. There's nothing.
Yes, but see, here's the thing. When you have a Hall of Fame, right, you're going to base yourself on the critical people who look at it. And for the same reason that you don't, like, people get mad at the Oscars, but that is people who actually know movies making their choices, not 14-year-old kids in the suburbs who don't have their own car and want to get dropped out. There's no fucking reason to sit around and celebrate how much an album makes unless you work for that record company or a radio station. Then you should be high-fiving.
Agreed, but, you know, people make movies. Some people make movies to make movies. some people make movies to make money. Kiss was, a band that went around. They look, they're in it for money. So they
Good. So why are they bitching about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
When they couldn't give a damn about artistic integrity and making some quality stuff. Mention a classic Kiss album from that you can mention. Like, every band has an album that's a masterpiece, pretty much.
He wants to go live again. But here's the thing, Johnny.
Alive, but
the whole fucking thing of sell out doesn't mean, hey, do crappy stuff and not make money. It means lower yourself to the fucking cheesiest level that you can and make a lot of money for it. That's why Burger King doesn't go around getting a lot of fucking awards, but people are like, hey, they sell a lot of burgers. Well, then that's their reward. That's what they get for it. Is he still there?
They're not in business to win awards. They're in business to make money. So that's where you look. That's what differentiates them.
But does Burger King belong in the Hamburger Hall of Fame?
No, neither does where I work. But we make money. That's what That's what people are.
Oh, don't sell yourself so short. Your food isn't that bad.
Well, no, it's fine. But it's not.
You've come up with a really good point, Johnny. Do you go putting any band up on your wall, no matter how many records they sold?
Yeah, I mean it's because you know what? No matter what, someone's gonna like them. There's a fan for every band out there.
I don't know. I just know that there's a lot of bands that aren't represented at Hard Rock.
Are there Nickelback fans?
We can't be everything. There's some artists who don't really want to even be, who may not want to be associated. And again, that's their choice as well.
Who doesn't want to be associated?
There's some bands that won't sell memorabilia. There's some bands out there that
Come on, I'm not going to see the Starland Vocal Band plaque up in your place. Come on.
You'd be surprised what you'd find in the warehouse that we have down in Orlando. There's some stuff from the most obscure random band you'd ever see.
You got Bobby Goldsborough's jacket.
See, he's made a good point, Johnny. You called here today to stick up for your fucking hero, Eddie Trunk, and you dropped the ball for him.
And I'm a big fan of Eddie Trunk. I listen to his show. It's entertaining, and he does a great job, and he really knows his stuff. I think Eddie is really an asset to the metal music, to the whole genre. Eddie's the ambassador. Eddie is the guy.
Who was the first person who told Eddie to open up his Hall of Fame?
That was you.
Well, let's all remember that because he doesn't. And he's acting like he's hearing it from his fucking shitty fans first.
Well, you've been saying that for years. You told him that. You said, why,
now he doesn't remember. Now
Eddie.
He's fucking Eddie Trump was like, you know what? I had a great idea the other day. Open up my own Hall of Fame. Me and Johnny want to do it.
Yeah,
I want that fucking Hall of Fame to be called Ron Bennington's Heavy Metal and Hard Rock Hall of Fame.
You could get in for free. You'll have free admission on Saturdays.
Why Saturdays? That's fucking. Come on. That's a day. Do we need to break first or bring him in?
We should break.
We got to break here, guys. Big Jay Oakerson's coming in next. He, of course, is going to be performing tomorrow night at Caroline's in New York City at 10 p.m. Caroline's, it's the place to go hear people do comedy. It's Caroline's. Caroline's is the place the jokes are told. Caroline's. So we'll break. We'll be right back. Ron and Fez.
You gonna get it crazy tonight? I get down to it. I said, you gonna get it crazy? I get down to it. I said, you gonna move, get it all down, get it all night, get it all right, get it out of sight, and get it down, baby. Yeah. Whamma jamma, let me hear you, digga. Come on, baby.
That's Magic Dick and his licking stick from the mighty Jay Giles band. It's all harmonica music up on the iBank today. All juice harp stuff. Hey, look who stopped in here, Big J. Good to see you again.
Oh, thank you very much for having me back again.
Big Jay Oakerson, you will be playing tonight at tomorrow night at Caroline's, the 12th. You're dressed to kill. You're always, seriously, you always dress so stylishly. But then you come across as kind of a metal look, but then a nice Beatles T-shirt.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I'm a weird. I always kind of come from the same generation, almost as like a Kid Rock type.
Mm-hmm.
Almost in like a. I describe myself as I said. I have in my iPod, I can go from like shuffle like Marilyn Manson to Barbra Streisand pretty quick. Like I kind of like a lot of different things.
You just like music.
Yeah.
You like music, and you're open to it. By the way, there is an amazing video up on the iBank today of this old man. He can't even answer his name, but they play him the music from his youth, and after that he's able to start talking. We're not going to do it because it's like 6 minutes, and he's the vibe manager over at the Hard Rock now, so he's doing really great. But for him it was Cab Calloway. But I do think, like, if you hear... There's something about high school or college and music where people think, here was the best music of all time, only because they were open to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if my high school was the best music of all time. That's getting into like the really hilarious, like when black people weren't scary rap music, like a lot of purple and greens in their outfits.
What kind of bands were we talking about?
Well, I grew up in West Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It was such a black neighborhood that for years I almost fooled myself that I didn't even like rock music. Even though I kind of grew up very young with it, between my mom would listen to like Lionel Richie, Commodores, music, like, and then top 40. My dad liked Pink Floyd and stuff like that, and David Bowie. So I kind of had a base in all of that. But then I went straight, like, I was the white kid listening to Public Enemy and wondering why my mom wouldn't let me buy a leather jacket with Africa on the back.
So now, do you still like Public Enemy, though?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I hold on to all of it. Like, no
matter what it is.
No matter what it is, even just like, laughing nostalgia.
Now, is there any music now that you're like, I just can't fucking handle that. I can't listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, most top 40. Pretty much everything Zito loves and holds close to his heart. Yeah. I would not even piss on the albums. Like, they're horrendous music.
Most of that, like, fucking, it actually isn't so much that I hate, is that it hurts me to see black people so soulless. To hear, like, you've got a fucking machine singing for you just fucking kills me. Now, that may be, like, in the same way of, like, old guys who just felt like mountain music was the only thing to listen to, and when you plug in, you've somehow brought the devil in, But
well, it's really weird because like Barry Gordy's grandson's in that LMFAO fucking band, and then that music is the hottest shit in the entire world right now.
It is talentless.
It's just if you heard it, you know it because it's in every fucking commercial, or YouTube video, everything. It's the
weird thing
really
is how many
bizarre.
songs I will pick up from commercials now. Like I used to think that was awful, but now that's top 40 radio to me.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shit that I don't know. All right, what about for you, Hicks? Is there stuff that you just? I'll put this out to the audience too. 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Stuff that you just feel is unlistenable, because I think I go closer to what Jay's talking about, where I like a lot of different genres, but I can also be very hard on people inside of that. Like when it comes to country music, I want it to sound closer to Johnny Cash than to a fucking Ford commercial.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And when I hear what's coming out of Nashville now, I'm normally embarrassed for those people.
It's horrendous what country music's become. But the dubstep movement, I think, is totally the Skrillexes of the world or whatever.
That might be because you're coming at it from an undrugged place. It might not work for you.
I don't know. Even on fucking drugs, I'd be scared.
The stuff you hate.
I don't like the Skrillex.
Now, here's a weird thing about Fez. Fez just doesn't identify to music at all.
I have a friend like that also who just says he doesn't really care if there's music ever.
I've met a couple of people like that. It's not, well, I guess it's somewhat rare, but it's certainly not unheard of. but Fez won't remember stuff unless it's because we worked at a radio station and we played those
Had to
songs.
play it, right.
Then he has like memories that are like, hey, that's when we did this, and like that reminds him and brings him back to it. But he doesn't work that in his own life. You've never owned albums?
Never.
And never listened to music when you're in a car?
No. If anything, I will just have total silence or maybe an audiobook.
Let me tell you something. Fez has never smoked pot and drove.
Yeah. No, you do talk radio, right? You do like sports radio. I didn't know that you were total silence and audiobooks.
I've done that before, just total silence, where I forget to even put anything on. Where it doesn't even... I guess some people get into a car and would be like, the first thing they have to do is have some music.
Yes, there's no... I don't know whether I've ever driven without listening to music.
If I'm iPodding especially, I don't even drop the car and drive until I got the song that's going to start it off.
You're going to be then...
Yeah.
Now, do you put together a whole playlist? Like, this will be my trip?
I love shuffle.
Yeah.
I like just throwing on shuffle and seeing, because it said I have no idea what's going to possibly
What's gonna happen
Benny
for you.
Davis eyes into like Raining Blood.
Now, Fez, do you ever sing to yourself in the car or hum along to a tune that you have just going on?
No.
Just never happens
That
to you.
doesn't happen at all.
And you say you can't hear lyrics in a song.
Right. I cannot pick out lyrics. I can hear the music. I don't even think I pick up the melody, but everything just overpowers the lyrics to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even like that Kenny Loggins light acoustic guitar, heavy lyric stuff.
Like a James Taylor where it's like, I'm slowing down so your heart can break as I sing you this sweet song.
Well, first of all, for most of the time, I'm not going to be able to hear it. And then also, it's just this tune out. Like, I don't hear it. It's just like a hum.
Well, I'm very aware. I'm very aware of a day that I don't hear music. I will think at some point that I haven't listened to music at all.
Really?
So, yeah.
And it'll actually be a day that sticks out for you.
Yeah. I mean, just for the day. It
Right.
doesn't haunt me.
Oh, God.
October 7th. There's a day I'll never forget. A musicless day.
But I can't imagine, like, not being in the shower and just start singing yourself.
No, that never happens.
I bring my laptop in the bathroom and
just
play
like to
music.
listen.
Yeah.
What do you think when we have all these musical guests? You don't even know... Like, did you know who Ronnie Wood was and the bands that he's been in?
I knew who Ronnie Wood was.
Now, why did you know that?
Just the Rolling Stones being so huge.
What's so huge? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, if you don't listen to music, how were you aware of them?
All right, I'll confess this. Ronnie Wood, I knew more because of what we went through with Earl before. Earl saying he could book him. And I think that's
what
when
about
I
the
figured...
Faces, when I bring up the Faces?
No, I didn't know anything about
you
the
didn't know
Faces.
that Rod Stewart was with them, and...
Didn't know any of that.
Did you know who the Who were?
Yeah.
Now, how do you know who the Who are?
One time I did go to a Who show.
And it just didn't mean
just from a radio station thing.
Right.
But, yeah, couldn't sing along with a Who song or anything.
What do you do at a concert when everyone else is there, like... Do you try to pretend?
I try to get into it, but you saw me at Springsteen. I didn't know anything.
But none of it strikes you at all? Like, it hits you where it's like, oh, well, maybe...
No,
look that up?
I will look around, and especially if the audience is clapping, I will try to focus on, like, a couple people in the audience that I think are doing it right, and just try to match them. Oh, man. And I'm not even hearing the music, I'm just watching.
Why, though? Why would you do that?
Well, I don't want it to look like I don't appreciate it.
But you don't.
Well, I don't musically appreciate it. I appreciate, wow, that everyone else seems to be having this experience.
Now, do you mean like clapping after a song?
No, I mean clapping along
like
with a
keeping
song.
the beat.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Wow. I hate Bruce
And I never
Springsteen.
know when a song
20
ends.
songs.
Yeah, that's really fucking true. That's really
I
funny.
hate Bruce Springsteen, and there's 20 songs that I know and like some of, but I still would identify as not liking him.
I think it's funny, though, that you just want to fit in with others. Like, look, everyone, don't fucking drag me out of here. I'm trying to do this.
Should have been giving the finger the entire time.
I don't want it to look like...
Fuck you. Stop being so noisy. Now, you say that you listen to books, but I don't think that you've listened to many books, right?
No, that's usually just a vacation thing. Yeah, I don't like put a book on at home.
And you don't read books.
And I do not read books.
And
no.
you don't see films.
No, I haven't seen movies.
So what would be a relaxing thing for you?
Well, television.
But it's never new television, it's shows that you saw.
It's reruns, yeah. Or, something
or a long silent car ride.
It's something that's science-y.
That's nice. Nice. So pop culture, you're not really a part of.
Right, yeah. And even with, if I put on, some sort of science program, like the Stephen Hawking one or the Morgan Freeman one.
Morgan Freeman is a scientist?
He has that through the wormhole. Even then, that's just kind of background stuff. You're
not a fan of science.
The whole show could go by and I've missed everything that they said about wormholes.
So what are you doing? You daydreaming a lot?
I'm just thinking.
What though? Because I've never heard you described as thoughtful. Or, hey,
No.
Fez has come in with a new angle of looking at something.
Introspective.
Yeah. I've given it a lot of thought. So are you pretending your stuff? You like a daydreamer? You like... Here's something, we got this up on the iBang. This is 7th grader becomes hero. Play this video. They're driving down the road. No, the bus driver, if we were doing a movie, Fez would be playing the part of the bus driver. Because you could see, as he's driving along, he's not feeling well, and he starts to have a heart attack.
Oh, shit.
And off he goes. As this busload of kids is going, look at his body rocking back and forth. Kid comes over, pulls them off the road.
It's amazing.
Well, what's amazing to you about it?
The kid just got up so fast and grabbed the wheel.
I think just the opposite. I think it took them a while, and the fact that the other kids stayed in the seats, I've never seen a class like this. And they're attempting CPR on him.
Yeah, they're just doing all this right stuff immediately.
Instead of thinking, hey, we have the bus, why don't we go to Beaver Valley
I bet this guy's
and
a wallet.
fucking try to look for chicks?
This must be suburban kids.
Yeah, really nice together. Now, are you surprised that the kid could get him off the road in 7th grade?
Yeah, I was surprised by it.
They play video games.
That's the same thing. I feel like we're, the kid did his thing, but...
Yeah.
Not
that impressed?
He's 13 years old. It was like a 3-year-old who calls the cops and, saves his mom's life. It's, figure you're 13. You got a sense of the world, what's going on.
He got the bus off the road, that giant bus that didn't spill over or anything. It
Well,
didn't
how
hit
difficult
anything.
is that?
He should have jerked
But he
the
wasn't like
wheel.
the Incredible Hulk it off the road. Like he had a wheel and the gas was stopping.
All right, so you're let down that we're not that impressed.
Yeah.
Because this is Fez's one story. I didn't want to give that away.
I love this thing.
And Fez told me that he watched this over and over.
Look, it's better. It's great that he did that instead of freezing and this thing going off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
But at 13, I think you should be able to figure that out.
Now, that was a kid daydream for me. I always had, very specific daydreams of being a hero.
Like
as
blowing a
kid.
guy or fucking getting an older guy to
Should
jerk
have
off
poisoned
on
your
you.
bus driver.
That's a different kind of hero.
What would you would always want to take over the bus?
No, mine was, on Sunday mornings in church, all I could think of was robbers coming in and holding the congregation hostage and stealing the offering. And I had this very specific fantasy if they were going to kill the pastor. But I was able to go sneak out, climb up into the choir loft, into the balcony, and jump down on them and stop them.
So this is what you were thinking instead of listening to the sermon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I think that happens when you're watching the science show.
Wasn't that Kramer's storyline in the movie Airheads?
Oh,
That's right.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Had
Fez
to put it all
told that.
together.
All right, so, but here, I'm trying to think this over, because I know I was in a stolen car twice in my teens, and I don't think that anybody was old enough to, well, I know no one was old enough to drive, so I must have been in something close to about this age, in a car that didn't belong to us, and I think a lot of kids think my parents aren't home, I'm going to try to fucking roll the car down the street and drive it around a little bit. So I'm not overly amazed that a kid could turn a wheel. And then you even hear the other kids saying, turn off the ignition.
Yeah, I just thought it was quick thinking on their parts to think, all right, is this bus driver, is he just, will he come back around? Is he going to come back and take the wheel?
But don't you think that these kids have all played the fucking, the video games where you're stealing cars and shit? Grand Theft Auto?
Oh, yeah, Grand Theft
Oh, sure, I'm sure there was some Mario Kart involved here.
Well, there's not that much difference that if you can keep a Mario Kart on the fucking thing and driving isn't all that amazing. And he didn't drive it for any distance. He just pushed it off to the side of the road. I think it's funnier that right away he started trying to pound the guy's chest to restart his heart. And I can't believe that this idiot couldn't have thought, I'm not feeling well, I ought to pull the car over before he had his heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're a fucking retard if you can't feel a heart attack coming on.
Well, I had one for 10 days before I realized it.
I want to blame the bus company for hiring a middle-aged black man, the most susceptible to heart disease.
That is true. They're fucking ticking time bombs.
They knew it was going to happen.
Every time I say goodbye to Earl, I just hold them so close. I go, this could be it, buddy, and I want you to know how I feel about you.
Does it say where his kids were going to? It's a school bus or like?
Yeah, it was a middle school in Washington State.
Chad, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, this is probably what it sounds like when Fezzy's driving his car.
What's he doing?
You know that song.
Come on.
That's your favorite TV show theme.
$3,000 check.
You gave them money so they can find out who spray painted.
I understand it when it's on TV.
You know what
that was with phone screeners.
Yeah,
that was phone screeners back in the game.
Yeah. Well, these phone screeners, they're just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's a light screen.
It's banana style.
Jay, you doing stand up tomorrow night at Caroline's?
Yes, indeed.
You like working Caroline's, or
I do.
Does it matter what show, where you play?
It doesn't. I mean, the comedy club's a comedy club essentially.
That hurts their feelings.
I like
they're so happy over there with their place.
I like intimate more places that are smaller, and that might just be the I can't sell out a big room in me talking.
So
maybe I'd love theaters if it was full.
What is the perfect amount of people for you?
I think 250 people.
250.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything bigger than that, it just starts to turn into ridiculous. Just like
I wouldn't know. Too much. Yeah. Nobody wants to be a rock
How about
star.
outside when you have to do stand up outside? Always a struggle.
I didn't do it much until I went on those heavy metal tours. I went on Mayhem Fest and performed 3 times a day, like outside in amphitheaters.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That becomes. It's less of the art of comedy,
right?
It's more of the cheerleading,
Yeah.
You know what Joe, my theory on that was more, if the first thing I'm talking about is girls shaving their assholes, you're probably just going to peek at the stage, and then it's my game to lose at that point. I can either hold you in and lock you with my asshole shaving material, or you're going to check out anyway.
Then you do some of that Don't You Hate Bin Laden, you fucking roll the place up with that. Seriously, who is this guy?
I always remind them once in a while what bands are about to come out, get them jacked up for that.
And then throw in some pussy band in the middle so they'll all boo.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can all relate, like, hey, seriously, can you imagine? See how we're all together for this?
Hey, 2,000 nondescript strangers.
Here's Chris. Chris, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys. The people driving your kids to school are freaking idiots. They pay them $8 an hour. And last week, I'm driving down the freeway. A bus pulls over into the exit lane, comes to a dead stop. All of the kids in the back of the bus jump up and look out the back window. Apparently, the bus driver didn't want to get off at that exit. Had the kids look to see if it was okay, and then pulled back out in the freeway from a dead stop on the freeway.
I'm telling you now, I don't know how anybody can drive a bunch of kids, because I would fucking despise it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just some sort of like glass partition where you can't listen to them or really see them, so that you can just do it in peace.
Well, then if you have a heart attack, how are they going to get to you?
Whatever.
You think of it more of as a pawn shop window than anything else.
They're ordering Chinese food in Harlem.
But I would say, I'd have to tell the parents, yes, I did punch your child, and I'm going to tell you why. Of the fucking screaming at that high-pitched voice. I couldn't take it anymore.
I punched my daughter's bus driver once.
For what?
They had like a substitute bus driver who, when he pulled over, eventually was great. He was like a German, like Nazi type guy. His hair was like slicked back.
Right.
Very odd accent. But he was a substitute driver, and he stopped at my daughter's bus stop, and then opened the door. I walked over to the door with all the other parents, and then he closed the door suddenly and drove off. And drove away for 45 minutes, and in that 45 minutes, circled around a few times and would drive, and all the kids were in the back window, like,
crying,
terrified, yeah.
And you think they're molesting our children while this is happening.
You know what? I didn't think molesting, I don't think he would go, it's like, I'm going to drop these kids off. Oh, wait, and then he just dawns on him, I have the option to take them off and molest them? I'll be back in 15 minutes, folks.
Why did he do that? He was just confused?
You know, we never found out. By the third time he looped around, I stood in the middle of the street so he'd have to stop. And then he opened the door, and I was prepared to yell at him.
Yeah.
When he opened the door, he started yelling at me for blocking his path in the street, and I went in the bus, and I was kind of like, I let the kids that were getting off, and then I went in, and I just lost it on him. I punched him in the face, and what was funny was to me was, there was another dad there. There's like two dads,
right.
Me and another guy that would wait for our kids there, and the rest was all these moms. The dad is, flat top, military haircut, short, kind of Italian-y guy. And while we're waiting, going through all this, I'm getting furious. The guy's going, we should throw this guy a beating, yeah? When he gets back, we throw him a beating. And I'm like, yeah, by all means, let's do that when he gets here. He's like, yeah, we'll do it. His kicking off the bus, he just walked him. He walked him and my daughter across the street to get them out of harm's way.
Right.
I went on the bus and hit the guy while a mother stood watching. Then she was like, yeah, all right, now, come on, out. And she ran cover for me.
No, did your kid become a hero with the other kids after this assault?
Yeah, it did. But she was oddly. I didn't think she saw it really. I thought she saw me because after I got off, I just went total tantrum and started kicking the front of the bus.
Right, just lost your
arms
shit.
up in the street, like yelling for God and something. And I started kicking the bus, and then she saw that, so she kept. I assume that's all she saw. She said, "Why'd you do that?" But the other kids on the bus, word gets around school, and what I did was, for the rest of that week, I didn't send her on the bus. I drove her to and from.
Yeah.
Because I was like, maybe I'm going to get arrested. I have no idea what's going to happen. And then, everyone stopped talking about it, so I go, all right, tomorrow you're going to go back on the bus again. And she goes, all right. She goes, don't punch the bus driver. I didn't know she knew until that moment. It was very embarrassing.
Do me a favor, and this is really big with me, but don't start beating up my teacher or the bus driver.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you got your own thing, but it reflects on me. That's so weird that he never even got around to pressing charges, and no one knows why he did it to this day. He's just like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah, and then went back to the pleasant 400-pound black lady that's always stops and goes, "Hey y'all."
Here's Chris. Chris, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddies. Not a great generalization, because not all bus drivers are idiots. My dad is a retired police officer, 33 years in Baltimore County, and now he's a school bus driver, does it part-time, and, he's got a pretty good hand in keeping hold of these kids. It's just a matter of who you're going to select and do it. They're not all $8 an hour idiots,
Well, look how, you're not, we make a big deal about teachers because of what they do for our kids, but the bus driver has to keep your children alive, back and forth. You're really giving that guy a lot. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, take all the children.
Here's our kids unseatbelted in, by the way, for some reason. The seatbelts are so important everywhere except the school bus.
Yeah, there you're just able to fly back and forth.
Did you ever see those videos of the hitting... The kids hitting the bumps, and then the kids flying up hitting the roof.
Let's go over here to Leah. Leah, you're on Ron and Fez.
Ronnie, the boyfriend and I last night were flipping around the On Demand, and I wanted to know if you've seen a movie called, it was either Highness or Your Highness. It's with Danny McBride and James Franco. It was just great. I've never even heard of it, and I don't know. It was awesome. It just kind of was making fun of itself. It was very different. You got to see Natalie Portman's ass. It was a good movie.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Leah.
It was great.
Were you high when you watched it?
You know what? No, but it really made me want to.
I really like to hear a woman go, we got to see Natalie Portman's ass. And take that as if it was a wonderful thing.
And who doesn't love Zoe Deschanel?
Oh, there it is. Now,
All right.
Fez, here's a woman who can appreciate women, and yet you cannot.
No, I just don't get the attraction.
And yet you also haven't been with a man.
No, I haven't done that yet.
These are bearded women that...
Oh.
It's actually if you took beautiful women and put masculine things on. Because I really came to this, Jay, that I don't think it's so much that guys are anti-gay as we are just anti-guy. And we just see guys as being somewhat disgusting.
Yeah.
And then even like for a guy to know that another guy is good looking, they have to have a girl's face. If a guy has a girl's face, then we'll go, oh, that's a good looking guy. What we mean is that guy is feminine, but it always surprises us when girls find like a masculine guy attractive.
You don't have like a radar for that too. I have exactly the pretty guy. You'll be like, that's a good looking guy.
You get it immediately.
But then there's also a whole other genre of guys. We go, I bet that guy gets a lot of pussy.
All right, give me an example of one.
Like a guy gets a lot of pussy.
Yeah, like I'm always surprised when I find out that women think Brendan Fraser is attractive, because to me he looks like every guy I've ever met in my life, and guys that are losers. But for some reason they'll give it to him.
Well, he did bring Judaism to Harvard football.
That was, yeah, he's a great guy. All right. That's what we never do with women, though. We never go, you know what, she's not attractive, but she's so accomplished that I do think I would want to be with her. So I get that. We understand, yes, you have to work for it. You have to accomplish it. But we don't get that you're just born with it unless you happen to be a pretty guy or girl face. Like Hicks. Hicks has got that perfect feminine look about him.
What?
You know, you kind of like our Johnny Depp.
Soft features.
Yeah, your soft features.
Yet to find.
Yet everybody, like, if we were in jail, you would get it first. But the hard thing for you, Fez...
We'll stab someone.
You kind of look like less feminine than you actually even are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you would be able to believe that you were like some crazy Scotsman fucking greenskeeper or some weird shit that we don't even have in this country.
You have now accepted the power, though, of like a hot chick, Fez, because you know you could get laid whenever you want. You absolutely
See, he
could.
doesn't. He says no to that, and I say just the opposite. That I'd say that he could walk in any bar,
5
say,
seconds.
"I'm offering to blow you," and get it done.
Wow.
And you're saying you don't believe it works that way.
I don't think it works that way.
You've been going into gay bars for how long now?
About 3 years.
And you've never once been picked up. You've never once. Have you tried the "I'm willing to blow all you guys"?
I haven't done that.
I think that's a mistake.
It's a weird subject to have to say.
The power
take it from
bottom
me.
move.
You can get laid at me. I'm not sure why I'd say take it from me.
But see, this I've had this theory that you take a Brad Pitt. This is a very high percentage guy for getting laid. He could probably get laid every day of his life. It doesn't mean that he could get laid in every situation. I'm sure he could walk into places, get dick teased a little bit, and left alone. A woman, no matter what she looks like, could get fucked at every bar in America. If she comes in and just says, "Here's, let me put it on the table, this is what I've got," then they could. And that's why women have a confidence that men never will. They know they can get laid.
By something. Something.
Right. Like a woman could be, you could throw her out of the fucking car in the desert, and she'll see it the roadway in that night. She'll be with some fucking dude. You'll be like, yeah, this guy picked me up. I'm staying in, I got no money. I'm staying in his room, simply blowing him.